Good evening, everybody. Saturday night, Modern Comic Mayhem on the fucking famous Tales from the Flipside channel. We've got Stray Dogs talk. I think Tony's coming on. We've got Suicide Squad talk, and there might be some Stray Dogs giveaways. So hang out, stay tuned, and cue the music. And we have a drinking game.
What's going on, everybody? What
What's
is
up, Brian?
new and exciting?
Everything's new and exciting.
Got some Stray Dogs fun tonight. It's gonna be nice to see Tony. I don't know if I've been on with Tony before. I think maybe.
Yeah, Tony's a lot of fun to have on.
Yeah. He seems pretty cool. And Suicide Squad talk. Did you guys see Suicide Squad? Sam, you see it?
I saw it Thursday night.
Ish, you see it?
I've seen it twice.
Good.
And I saw it Thursday night as well.
We're going to have a nice, lively conversation about that. Comic book news. We got some anime news. Got some interesting stuff happening in the Olympics. That was pretty interesting. So we're going to talk about that.
Olympic news?
Olympic news? Oh, my God, dude. Where the fuck have we gone?
We have the most rounded show on YouTube.
Thank you for everybody hanging out with us who are live in the chat tonight. Of course, remember, drinking game. Hit that QR code. I'm sure Kyle has some fun drinking words on there tonight.
Always.
Thank God I don't drink because I'd be hammered quarter into the show. Alien.
Me too. What was that? Alien.
Yeah.
You're just getting them warmed up, giving them some pregame, something to sink their teeth into.
So, all right. You guys get any pickups this week? Any new pickups?
I have some.
You guys want to go through some pickups?
Sure, we could start with that.
Let's do it.
Ed says I'm not falling for that drinking game again. Come on. If anything, if you ever want to play the drinking game, just take a drink whenever I take a drink, and that'll be perfect.
Yeah, that's not cool.
I heard Ish got a fashion pickup this week.
Oh, are we on to pickups already? Well,
we can save them. We can start off with them.
Someone
Whatever you guys want to do.
They missed my Leafs hat. The Leafs hat shall be back, but for now, it's no time to die.
Says, yeah, you look so much better without your Leafs hat.
Shout out to Eric.
Like I said,
Shots fired.
Yeah, hang out tonight because I know I'm going to be giving away some Stray Dog stuff. So we'll have to figure out a cool way to give some cool Stray Dog stuff away. So, well, do you want to start? No, let's let some people get in here. Let's wait. I know people like pickups, so let's wait.
Well, let's ask Ish about comic shop talk. Any crazy news in the store, the shop this week? What are people talking about? What are people excited about?
I mean, I guess the big buzz is probably Suicide Squad. People excited to see that.
Did people come in for looking for certain Suicide Squad books then?
No, I didn't really notice a particular uptick in the comics, but just people, just saying, hey, they're ready to see the movie.
What was your big seller in the store this week?
Probably have to say Sinister War #2. Which is pretty much matching our Amazing Spider-Man numbers, which is the top Marvel seller for us.
What was that book you were recommending to me on Wednesday when I was there?
Was it Spider-Man related?
Hello, everybody. We got your mom in the chat. What's up, your mom?
Savage Avengers is one I've been recommending to people for a while. That's one of my favorite books. Newest issue just came out, number 26, I believe. It's been written by
Legend in here.
written by Jerry Duggan, the entire run now up to issue 26, and that's a fun book. I like it a lot. And whoever I've turned on to the book and actually got into and started reading it they're all like, "Yep, good call."
What's so good about it?
It's just the fun Avengers matchup. So it's led by Conan. It's Wolverine, Punisher, Elektra, Venom, Doctor Strange, Brother Voodoo. They all kind of slide in and out. They even had Juggernaut, Deadpool, Spider-Man, and they're all really focused on the overarching story has been Kulan Kath, which is a Conan villain. So he's crossed over into the Marvel universe, and for 26 issues, they've kind of been battling him. But there's always something crazy happens in each issue that's just makes it totally worth it. Be it, a really weird sorcery sex scene between Doctor Strange and Elektra, or Conan picking up a Wolverine with his claws out and literally swinging him around like a sword.
Is this the guy right here? This guy?
Nope. That's I think like a side villain.
Okay. Kulan Goth may have had a taste of night. Oh, it's Nightmare. That's Nightmare. Shit.
Yeah.
That's cool. Says
so. I
he
don't know.
came to
Anyone's
offer-
really looking for a fun book. Savage Avengers is definitely worth trying out. Pick up the trade paperback so you can catch up.
So
this is something that just started then.
What are you saying? What?
What issue is it on? It just didn't. It didn't
26. Issue 26.
You were trying to get me into a book that's on issue 26.
Well, you can catch up.
You were just trying to be. You know what? I just figured Ish out. He was just trying to be a salesman at his comic book store. He was just trying to get me to buy shit.
None of that is important because Marvel revealed the one boost Conan hates. What do you guys think it is?
Vodka.
Let's take a look.
He doesn't like martinis.
Says so far the Barbarian has spent a significant portion of Savage Avengers enjoying adult beverages. In the first issue drawn by Deodato, he and Wolverine wind up pouring beer straight from a keg into each other's mouths, and the good times continue to roll throughout the series. Conan seems to be on a mission to drink the whole Marvel roster. To drink with the whole Marvel roster. That's kind of weird. I never knew Conan was like a big Thor drinking guy.
Yeah, for sure.
He also clinks glasses with the Punisher, Deadpool, and Magic. The most recent issue, Conan takes a potentially polarizing position. He announces that he loathes pumpkin beer. Good for him. Good for
pumpkin
him.
beer, yes.
Time to take a stand.
Isn't that from fucking Harry Potter?
The line shall be drawn here.
Pumpkin beer? No, pumpkin beer has got to be a real thing because it's pumpkin everything at that time of year.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's pumpkin juice in Harry Potter. Never mind.
Yeah, Conan the beer variant.
He's really into his IPAs,
Yeah, it's kind of weird. That's a weird team, to be honest. Having Elektra on the team with Conan, it's kind of weird. Very interesting.
Black Widow on at one point too.
Yeah, well, let's see here. It says here, it talks about that Kulan Goth guy. Let me see. I'm doing a little research here. Shumagoroth. That's who I was remembering. Shumagoroth. That's a different character. That's Doctor Strange type stuff, but Doctor Strange is in there. Shout out to Ronnie. Ronnie, thank you, brother. $5 super chat. He says, appreciate getting to hang out with you cats tonight. We appreciate it too.
Yes. I'm going to beat Brian. We like to finish each other's sentences.
Yes. Yes. Oh.
Yeah, Nate 138, the Sumerian run from Ablaze is fantastic, and that is an excellent book too. They can't use the name Conan for licensing reasons, so they just call it the Sumerian. And great artwork, great stories, pretty R-rated. Lots of boobies.
Yeah, your mom says seasonal craft beer. No, thank you.
Eric wants to know, what are your what does your shop have?
Yeah, free comic book day. I mean, we got a lot of different titles, so we just kind of put them all out. Otherwise, no real,
Damn, you make
just
it
hope
sound
a
so
lot of people
exciting.
show up.
So
I'll be there.
exciting.
Brian eats them too quick. I can't finish his sandwiches.
I know actually a lot of stores, if we can talk about that, a lot of stores have canceled free comic book day, including some notable stores. I know like Ontario Street Comics in Philadelphia, the one from the M. Night Shyamalan movies. They officially canceled free comic book day over COVID concerns, and they're probably not the only one.
Yeah.
I just love that Stray Dogs. That Stray Dogs free comic day book.
Yeah, hopefully that'll be a popular one. Get people to scoop up the leftovers we have on the racks too for the main issues.
When I left Ish's store, I went to my store to pick up books as well, and I was talking about it, and they were talking about free comic book day, and they were talking about Stray Dogs, and it's just something when Tony gets on, I'm going to ask him. But she said she was like they're kind of nervous about giving the Stray Dogs free comic book day out because the way it's drawn, Trish does such a great job drawing it as like Disney-esque looking.
Yeah, like
and it's
Don
Stray
Bluth.
Dogs, and it looks kind of, but in that free comic book day issue, they do part of the first issue in it, and in that issue is the dog that starts it all off for the run of the 1 through 5 that that kind of has the best memory.
Yeah,
you see that dog's owner get strangled, and she's like, well, we have to give this book out to kids because they're going to think it's a kid's book. But yet that there's I wonder what the age range, and I was like, well, it's not a 9-year-old kid's book. It's a preteen, teen, so forth book. But she's nervous about giving it out to parents, or giving it out and the parents being like, there's a woman being strangled in the book and then their dog being stolen.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like All Dogs Go to Heaven, right? That's the animation style or the design, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like a Disney style, and
that's okay. I don't have a problem with that. I'm cool with that. Like I don't think that book is meant for kids.
No, the book is certainly not. But
it really
the question
isn't.
is, free comic book day, is it
a kid's
is it
thing?
going to be dropping some things on kids that
because
parents aren't aware of?
I don't want to show, if you look at the cover, if we can find the cover, can I show the cover? Is it okay?
I'll pull it up. I got it.
It looks like except for like the horror movie variants, it kind of looks like
Here it is.
It's like the one behind. Yeah, Brian will pull it up right now.
If it loads, holy shit.
But it looks like, well, it's blank, but it doesn't look like
Jesus, come on, previews or
exactly.
freecomicbookday.com.
It's not for kids, but it looks like it's for kids. So like even this slow ass loading cover right here.
It's the website. The website is like super slow. I just tried to pull it up a second ago.
But like, let's look at it. It's like there's a butterfly and flowers and this little puppy on the window, and it.
Yeah. Yeah, but that is a creepy cover, like because it looks so like that, and you just barely see the faint image of the guy in the window. That is a cool cover.
It's because we know the story.
Are you kidding me? It's gonna make me go through this again. Jesus, free comic book day. Fix something. God.
Man, they must have dial-up over there.
Yeah, Ronnie, I want to check.
Yeah, the Red Room.
Red Room. We're gonna talk about that.
Ooh,
we'll take a look at all of them.
Yeah.
This is a
there's a fair share of the free comics that are not for kids.
There's
always like a Lady Mechanica and other stuff like that, some horror titles.
I mean, it does have him taking a picture in it, but Yep, 56K.
So
But-
ridiculous.
That
But it
is
is
such a creepy
it is a
cover.
creepy. But it's because you know the story.
Well, also now
Yeah.
that I see it's a dude taking the Polaroid of the girl changing in the back.
But it's just yeah.
Why
It's
is Free Comic Book Day's website so slow?
Because it's run
Because
by
they don't.
Diamond.
They only use it once a year.
It's steam powered.
Once a year. Yeah.
All right. Well, there's of course, the Enter the House of Slaughter book. Everybody's going to be wanting to get that book, of course. Big. They've been talking about this one for a while. Jesus Christ. Let's try this. Let's try this. This might
Maybe
be
he
better.
can speed it up for us.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Jeez, look how slow this stuff is. That's terrible.
You know, for Enter the House of Slaughter, we had some customers do pre-orders and ordered up enough to get the 1 per 50s and the 1 per 25s. And they were like, it wasn't even like that we had to strike a deal or anything. They came in and one guy was like, I'm ordering 25 of cover A. He's ordering 25 of cover A. They each want the 1 per 25, and then I guess they'll rattle over the 1 per 50.
Interesting.
You should just put their name in a hat.
Man, this is terrible.
It is terrible.
Look at this. We're still waiting. Yeah, hold on.
But yeah, that was just. I thought that was a good question because she was like, you know,
Are they still running their website on dial-up?
they have to be.
They got
That's
to wind up
horrible.
that machine that makes the noise. Boo, boo.
God forbid anyone picks up their landline. Why is Hartman saying that? Who has landlines these days? Come on.
Yeah, who could that possibly be? Ish?
But yeah, I just. And later this, if anybody's interested, we're going to be doing a giveaway. I might actually give away. This one's going to be for sure. I'll have a Stray Dogs 5-second print to give out. But I might actually have other Stray Dogs to give away. So if you guys all hang out and stick around, just don't live in the Philippines, please, because I don't have that Flipside money. They don't give me any money to ship books out.
There's an Archie book. Enter the House of Slaughter. Oh, there's a Star Wars book.
Maybe
There's 2 Star Wars books.
when is the FOC cutoff for that Spawn 1 and 250 book already over? Is that passed? Ish.
For which Spawn?
What's that Spawn where you can get the 1 and 250 McFarlane cover?
Like is that like on a new issue of Spawn, or is this like a separate? I don't know which one you're talking about.
Which Spawn was that everybody's asking about, Brian?
Then probably the Spawn Universe one. I don't know.
Yeah, damn it, everyone.
I think King
Somebody tell me
Spawn
to check.
is coming out soon. King Spawn #1.
Maybe that's what it is.
All
Maybe we
right, I
can all
finally got a
chip in.
page to frickin' load. Holy cow.
That's what I'm saying, Justin. What's going on?
People at
Right.
church have landlines, so I said Christians are the only ones.
Thank you, everybody.
King
Spawn.
Spawn,
Hartman's on fire tonight.
Suicide Squad, Free Comic Book Day, Batman.
Ooh, Solo Leveling. You guys read that one?
No.
Kyle's little sister.
That's dope. I love Solo Leveling.
Interesting. Sampler from Korean webcomic compiled into a graphic novel. It looks pretty dope. It's a dope cover, that's for sure. All right, let's see what else we got. We've got King Shark. It's interesting.
Sporting the full testosterone bodybuilder bod versus the dad bod we got in the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
There's like 4 or 5 DC ones.
I prefer the
Batman
dad
and
bod.
Robin Howard.
I have to get Kyle's little sister #1. It's just a given.
Kyle's little sister. Yeah, there you go. Here's the other. Here's the interesting one, right? The High Republic Edge of Balance, Guardian of Wills #1. Like, it's the new manga adaptation. So that's kind of interesting. Did you know about this, Sam?
No.
Anybody know about this? Where's JJ and all the Star Wars guys?
They fucking bailed on us. Marco told him not to watch
Yeah,
the
I knew
show.
about it.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. All right. Origin of Baze and Churret in that. So there you guys go. Unfinished Corner. Free comic book day. Inspired by Jewish mythology about an unfinished corner of the world populated by monsters that a group of friends are taken to and finish.
Interesting. Yes. I might have to check that out.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Looks like Narnia.
Yeah, it did. That's what caught me when I saw the lion. That's a pretty crazy cover right there. Valiant Uprising. Sampler stories of featuring... Yeah. Shadow Man 1, Ninjak 1, Harbinger 1. How come there's always a Lady Mechanica?
There's always a Street Fighter and Lady Mechanica.
Yeah. That's a pretty cool Street Fighter one. Life is Strange on Tyranny preview. That's interesting. Excerpt from a graphic novel based on the writings of Timothy Snyder, who imparts lessons for surviving and resisting America's arc towards authoritarianism. Oh, maybe it doesn't look like an interesting one. I don't want that in my comic books. Yeah, I don't want that in my comic books.
I don't want a glory hole book.
Yeah, I don't want that either. White Ash Season 2, standalone story between first limited series. Judge Dredd, Smurfs. There you go. Relaunch of the Smurfs comic ahead of the 2021 Nickelodeon animated series. That could have some spec potential in that. Gotta get this. Are you kidding me?
It's like a Breakfast Club homage cover.
I did not know about that. Ish, you got to put one of those aside if you get one of those.
I was just about to say that too.
That is awesome. School for Extraterrestrial Girls. That's interesting, but
I think I
cover on that one. Here's some Oni Press books. There's a lot of free comic day books. Holy shit. Marvel Spider-Man Venom preview of the upcoming Venom series, the Flash Thompson returning to space. I'm very happy
there's
about
two
that.
Marvel ones. Marvel Silver Spider-Man and Marvel Gold Incredible Hulk. I don't know why silver and gold, but those are the two main Marvel ones.
Yeah.
I didn't say variants 1 there for. Go down.
Where?
It's for Stray Dogs.
I think that's telling you how many variant covers there are for it.
Oh yeah, there's the one variant. This one.
Where do you get that?
Variant cover art by Trish Forstner. There's also a Virgin variant. You know, I think we're gonna have to find out where you get that. I'm sure there's somebody we can talk to about that in a little bit.
I would love to get that.
Yeah, because you know who that is, right? You know what that is, right?
I can't really see it.
It looks like Jason.
That's exactly what it is. Jason, what is it? Jason 10 or something like that. What it looked like to me. Maybe I could be wrong. It could be something else, but
looks like the hockey mask where the snake is going through the eye holes.
I love cover. Cover or skull issues on. I love skull covers. Jesus, I am stoned. Skull covers are what I collect. One of the main things I collect, and I'm gonna have to get one of these. I have to get one of these. Yeah, Jason Goes to Hell. Yeah, that is. That might be the best. Holy shit! This might be my favorite homage out of the whole run yet. That's pretty cool. That is damn cool. All right,
you need to find out where to get the. Did you get those in, Ish?
I think
that one in particular. I think so.
I think that might be specific. We'll find out. We'll ask Tony when he comes on.
Yeah, let's find out what to do what that is.
Overstreet. I know there's a new Overstreet out, right? And this is interesting. Tips on comic collecting.
That is interesting.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see what that is.
That every year, kind of, quick summaries on what the grades mean and stuff like that.
I've never
last
seen
week the new Overstreets did come out.
Here's the really one of the really good ones that I'm really stoked to get. This Red Room. I really love this series. I got to get the Red Room Spawn cover. That looks awesome. But I also got to get this. Super dope. Shout out to Ed Piskor.
Yes.
One of the best creators in comics right now.
Let's get him on the show.
Oh, man, I wish.
How awesome would that be?
Yeah. Gorgeous Vampirella cover. Absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. That is freaking smooth. Reprint of Vampirella #1, 50th anniversary of Vampirella. Beautiful.
This year has some real good ones.
Yeah. Yeah, this is kind of a...
usually there's 2 or 3 you really want to go for, but there's
how about
this year.
There's the Boys Hero Gasm reprint with a different cover. That's cool. Just because you know what's going on in this issue. Or, I mean, in this cover. It's funny they got. Look at that. This is cool. Trailer Park Boys #1. Shout out to Wonder World Comics. I believe he's got a Trailer Park Boys #1 exclusive variant. Avatar: The Last Airbender. Black Calexit. So that's interesting. 2 stories in the universe of Black and Calexit. Not final ever art. Well, that's obvious. Zorro. If you guys see anything that you guys like, let me know. Captain, that's pretty wicked. Look at that cover. That's kind of cool. You ever heard of that, Sam? Captain.
Yeah, that's an old series. It's being redone.
Ooh, there you go.
Yeah, the current series is about 3 issues in right now.
Demon Slayer #1, Zom 100, Assassin's Creed, Valhalla, and Dynasty. That's kind of cool. Excerpts from 2 Chinese web comics that will be published in English. That's interesting.
There's JJ. He's just a little late.
Yeah, Demon Slayer is incredibly popular.
We needed you a few minutes ago.
Blade Runner. Here's your gold one.
Yeah, there's the Marvel Gold. Anyone in the chat read Blade Runner?
Oh man, I got that. This cover is horrible.
I'm glad you said it because I wasn't going to.
Look how bad this cover is. I
Look
feel
at
bad.
Captain America, man.
Yeah.
He said, I feel bad. Poor Cap. Poor all of them. Look at Thor. He really got the short end of the stick on that one.
Oh man, that's a bummer. Avengers. Let's see here. First team appearance of the Atlantean Avengers with Namor as Captain America. Well, that's why Captain America looks so weird. Well, it doesn't look like Namor either.
Doesn't look like he has too much mascara on.
Yeah, Battle of Wolverine versus Deathlock. Yeah, I could care less about that. Lady Mechanica is one of my all-time favorite comic books, and I love chasing early issues. Super hard to find, but I feel like Joe Benitez puts out this same Lady Mechanica cover every free comic book day.
I think he does.
Well, but this one's different because it says 2021.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, really great series, though. Shout out Joe Benitez. Here's your High Republic adventures again. JJ, let us know if there's anything in here that we should be, looking for. It doesn't look like it is, but
looks like there's going to be a high density of man buns.
Man buns, yeah.
Man buns.
Brian, on the other Star Wars one, you said it had the origin of Chirrut.
Yeah, Chirrut. Yeah.
Is that from Rogue One?
I don't know.
Chirrut
I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
That's actually one of my favorite characters in Star Wars.
Enter the House of Slaughter, of course. Everybody's chasing that one. And We Live Last Days #1. Stories that take place in the world of We Live. And there's your last one. So
that's not a bad looking cover.
It isn't. I like it. I actually really like it. I might have to check that out. So a lot of really good free comic book day books. And JJ Maxwell, you're 100% correct-ish. He is from Rogue One. So there you go. Not bad.
Sure,
bad for a
played
Trekkie.
by Donnie Yen.
Well, there are. I definitely want that Stray Dogs variant. I want both Stray Dogs. I want. Let's see here. Which is the other one that I want? The Boys one is cool. The Vampirella one is cool. The Red Room was cool, and there is a Sonic one. I don't know if I talked about that one.
Yeah, we just kind of breezed past it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely School for Extraterrestrial Girls. That is super dope. Breakfast Club homage. So there's probably 4 or 5 books that I would pick up there. you know, what's interesting is, I believe, shout out to Wanted Comics, who I believe is giving away that House of Slaughter free comic book day with every purchase. So I know that there was a little bit of an issue, or not, maybe not an issue, but people I saw talking about it, about people selling the free comic book day issues on, you know, eBay or just selling them. Because they're, you know, that House of Slaughter book is a big issue. And so I'm sure there's retailers out there that got a bunch and are probably having for sale on eBay already. I never agreed with selling free comic book day issues, just like I'm kind of like Stein on this also, where I think it's hard to have free comic book day issues be first appearances. So what are your guys' thoughts on free comic book days on both of those, whether you're selling them or on them being keys? You think yes, yay, nay, yes, no?
We don't at the shop. We do not sell them.
Good.
Definitely would never even entertain the thought of doing that. I know some shops do them, like pullers only get them, and then the public has to pay or stuff like that. But that defeats the whole purpose of free comic book day.
Yeah, it does. You know what? Just have a killer sale. Try to make your money off of, you know, have awesome back issues out.
I mean, they're not free for the shops. So if people think that they're free, they're not free. The shops do have to buy them, but they're free to the public, and it's supposed to be a gateway, you know.
I mean,
like
I really
Brian, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. You finish that thought.
Well, I was gonna, like how Brian said, now they're doing, you know, first appearances and stuff. But really, that's just Marvel doing that, right? And you know, they don't have a lot of books, so you know, those will always go. The Marvel ones always go fast. Those are gone first immediately.
Let's see. We got 81 live viewers right now. We're going to throw up our first poll of the night. I want to know, does your local comic shop sell free comic book day issues? We'll find out there. I want to remind everybody, thank you for hanging out with us.
Saturday. It's a week from today.
It's Saturday, yeah. Saturday the 14th.
Saturday the 14th. Saturday the 14th Strikes Back. You guys remember that movie?
No.
It's a B horror movie that.
Well, let's look it up because that sounds very interesting.
That sounds like something we should be
talking about. Yeah, Saturday. What is it? What was it? Saturday
the 14th.
The 14th
Strikes Back. Sounds almost as good as Samurai Cop.
Oh man, this is funny, man. 1988.
Yeah, it's an old school.
Here we go. Let's pull up the IMDb on this bad boy. Saturday the 14th Strikes Back. Dude, that looks like who's that artist? This is a famous artist, right? Graham Wilson. Is this? I feel like this is. I've seen this art somewhere before. Interesting. All right, Saturday the 14th.
Not that I know, but I think that's a Playboy artist.
You might be right. We'll look it up.
I would not. That's not something I would know, though.
I beg to differ on that opinion. Thought.
Saturday the 14th Strikes Back. It's one hell of a party. Oh man, this takes me back. There used to be the most awesome VHS rental store right down the street by my house growing up. That was like your perfect like idea of like the mom and pop VHS rental store where it's like super dark. There's posters covering every inch of window space in the front windows, you know, and you go in and like you find these crazy movies like this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that's interesting.
I don't know. Just an old B horror movie.
Yeah, you can get it on DVD too.
Very cool. Wait, The Strikes Back. Does that mean that The Strikes Back? Does that mean that it's a sequel? Is there a Saturday the 14th that happened that we missed?
There we go. Graham Wilson drew for Playboy. That's yeah.
Ish was right.
Good call, Ish. Not bad, my friend. All right, let's see here. We've got
Playboy was a quality magazine in the 80s. You know, the naked ladies aside, they always had, you know, like Hunter S. Thompson, like, you know, some of the great American writers and journalists and cartoonists. It's some of the best interviews ever. So shout out to 1980s Playboy. Just something that's just not around anymore. Not the way it
Spec
used to
says
be.
brick and mortar stores in my area have a super high lease. He doesn't blame them for selling them.
Well, it's funny that I'm really surprised. Like 26 votes right now so far, and it's 26% sell their books, sell Free Comic Book Day books. Very interesting.
I mean, I would just, the Free Comic Book Days are the draw, and then you get people in there buying
Other books.
other books and
Have
you
a
have
sale.
crazy sales going on, have a lot of eye candy up to buy stuff. Yeah, you just go there to buy other stuff.
Is that how it plays out, Ish?
Yeah, I mean, we don't have a sale planned, but I know that's something where stores typically.
I'll do
might
your guys.
that.
I'll do you guys 50% off everything in the store.
Kyle will be first in line, guaranteed.
Shout out to Timothy Mark, and he says Hugh Hefner loved comic books. You know what's funny about this? This is a synchronicity in the life of a stoner right here, no doubt. I was just reading about this yesterday on the Shitter and an Old Wizard. They did a like the top 10 celebrity comic book fans, and Hugh Hefner was number one. And they interviewed him about it, and he said that if he was a better artist, he would have never started Playboy. He would have tried to draw for comics. Very cool.
So he lived an unfulfilled life because he never made that dream come true.
Yeah. Poor guy.
Yeah. He had to settle. For Playboy.
Let me see. Naked chicks. I'm going to write comics.
Yeah.
I guess I'll have to just go with the naked chick. I guess.
Is he dead?
He was. Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah,
he was heartbroken that he couldn't do comics, right?
Yeah.
And so he settled for Playboy.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Which just goes to show you, men will always choose their hobbies over women.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. I want to remind everybody we got almost 100 live viewers right now. Thanks for hanging out with us. Listen, there were some issues last night in one of the shows where people were having a problem getting live comments up in the chat. We're trying to figure that out. There was problems with people trying to give super chats. They couldn't give super chats. So just if you guys have any problems in the chat tonight, let us know. And we want to know because we're trying to figure out what's going on with that.
I noticed that last night too. Like I wouldn't see other people's comments, but like you guys would put them up. And I was watching a couple different YouTube shows last night. Shout out to the Absolute Geek guys. I was watching at the same time, and I was watching another shows. They would put up a comment, and I wouldn't see the comment there.
Yeah,
like in the chat. So yeah, I think there was something up with YouTube.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. We'll figure it out though.
For sure.
Hey, listen, I do want to kind of get into some of the anime talk real quick. Sam, you down?
Yeah, let's do it.
So, a little bit of news over the weekend, or when did this happen with the Olympics? A couple days ago, yesterday, 2 days ago?
It's been over the past week. So, there have been a lot of Olympic athletes demonstrating poses that were made famous in One Piece, which is the biggest manga anime ever. And the first one was a Greek athlete. And this particular pose, I'm sure you can play it, but the first pose is called Gear Second. And it's the main character's first time he powers up or transforms. When we read it, it was kind of like akin to going Super Saiyan. You got it. If you guys watch Dragon Ball, you know what Super Saiyan is, but
yeah. I think this is it, right?
Yeah, so here's a Greek athlete, takes the pose, is basically squatting down.
That's interesting. That's really interesting. That's pretty cool. Not bad.
And then the next one is an American athlete.
Well, here's the pose that he was doing.
Here's the pose from the manga. The One Piece editorial staff sent him this note in Greek.
Oh, that's awesome.
So this is awesome. This is a direct note from the editorial staff.
It says, "Dear Jumper, from from Greece. We really celebrate with our friends around the world. We feel unlimited respect for your effort and achievements. That's cool.
Hell yeah,
Yeah,
that's cool.
So the word friends that they're translating, it actually, the term is crewmate. So in Japanese, the phrase or the word is nakama or nakama, and it means crewmate. And so they're saying we celebrate with our crewmates around the world, like you're part of
That's
the
awesome.
One Piece crew.
That is awesome. That's actually really cool, man.
Mhm.
Kind of gave me like goosebumps, man. Like if I was a huge One Piece fan and they said like, "Hey, you're part of the crew now," like that'd be dope. That'd be really dope. Here's the next dude. Let's go find the next dude here.
The next guy, this is an American shot putter, Peyton, but he's just he just doesn't give a crap. He doesn't give a shit about what people think of him. So this is the note that the editorial staff did for Peyton Otterdahl. And again, they translated it into English for him.
Yeah. We sincerely celebrate the activities of our nakama. Actually, that's cool how they left it in the Japanese word, around the world with utmost respect for your efforts and achievements. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so jealous of this because I freaking love Frankie, man. Frankie's like my guy, but he's got kind of like an Ace Ventura look to him. But yeah, I dressed as him twice for Comic-Con. One in his kind of pre-time skip look, which you see here, and then he gets a super big power up later on.
So you were in a Hawaiian shirt and a Speedo to Comic-Con?
Yeah,
look at those forearms there.
It was so freaking hilarious.
Did you have the big forearms too?
Yeah. Well, no, I didn't. Not the first time. The second time, he gets like he's a cyborg, so he has like all these like big things that he. Yeah, that's what I looked like.
That's awesome, man.
Oh man, yeah. And then the last one was an Italian distance runner, and that pose there is another Luffy pose called Gear Third. And so Luffy is he's made of rubber like Mr. Fantastic, but way better. And so what he's doing right there is he's blowing air into his thumb to turn his bones into balloons so he can have giant arms.
Dude, I love the creativeness of Japanese like anime and manga. It's so damn creative, it's unreal.
Yeah, and again, they translate it into Italian. They give him the message in Italian saying he's their nakama. That's actually a picture of him at the One Piece store in Japan.
Oh, that's so cool, man. Yeah, that's so cool. That is great. That is really cool. Man, hey, at least the Olympics are good for something, right?
Right.
I have a gripe about the Olympics. So today was supposed to be the final gold medal events for all the karate, and I was really looking forward to checking it out. And it's only on a separate fucking pay streaming platform.
Oh, that's bullshit.
With NBC. And I have Paramount. No, not the Peacock. Yeah, the Peacock's the other thing. But you need this additional Olympic subscription to watch that. And it's not being shown on any of the network television. So I'm real disappointed.
Yeah, that's crap. That's absolute crap. I'm not a fan of that. Like the Olympics should always be free. Like that's the whole thing about the Olympics.
Yeah.
Oh, that's ridiculous. It's all about money these days. The IOC has been doubted for years for being in it for anything other than money. So I'm not surprised.
They're corrupt. It's pure cronyism.
Yes.
I mean, there's billions of dollars flowing in and out of that shit.
Yeah. Here's another interesting thing. Let's stick with the anime stuff, Sam, and that's the Bleach one shot.
Yeah.
I'm excited about this.
Dude. So this is the color spread for the 20th anniversary catch-up chapter that they're releasing this week. It's a 73-page chapter. Most manga chapters, weekly chapters, are 19 pages. So this is a huge chapter they're bringing in. And, you know, the catching up with Ichigo down the line after this kind of mirrors the first chapter when he was. Yeah. So it's doing a lot of catch up, and we're getting a sense of the characters and where they've been all this time and what's been going on. But if you're a big Bleach fan, you should be looking out for this. These are all scanlations, so they're pirated copies, but the official release is tomorrow morning on Manga Plus or Viz.com, Shonen Jump. But this color spread looks so good to me.
Not bad.
Ichigo's design is awesome.
I remember I watched this anime, and I watched it with the subtitles, so it was all in Japanese, with the English subtitles. And then I finally saw that it was on like Adult Swim, but it was the English version. And when I went to go watch, I remember getting so pissed because I was like, "That's not their voice," because like it's completely different voices. Like even the sounds of their voices, like it's completely different.
Yeah.
And I'd watched and I'm surprised I still don't know his Japanese from all the anime that I've watched. But like it's so weird hearing them differently.
It is a little weird. I thought the English voice actors for Bleach were pretty decent. I thought Ichigo's voice was pretty good. I mean, there's lots of others. I think the English cast in One Piece, for example, I really have a hard time listening to them. But Bleach I always really liked. But yeah, you're right. It is kind of jarring to get a different voice because they can't do an exact match.
Yeah, you get used to hearing them.
Here's another story that you brought up. We talked about Chainsaw Man on the show a couple weeks ago, I think.
Yeah.
And explain this whole thing to me because I kind of did a quick once over on it, and it sounds really interesting. Something about he wrote a story that kind of mirrored a real life crime or something. Yeah.
So Tatsuki Fujimoto writes Chainsaw Man. He's in between part 1 and part 2. And he released this 143 one-shot called Look Back. And it's about those two girls there are manga artists. And the one who's kind of leading the way is this outgoing girl who writes manga for her school newspaper. And the other girl was kind of a shut-in. And through manga, they were able to kind of create this not only professional ambition that drove them both to be better artists, but they became lifelong friends. And then they split up and they go to college. And while they're in college, the shut-in is at a manga studio, and this guy comes in. And in the original, he says they say that he has schizophrenia, paranoid schizophrenia, and he goes in and he kills a bunch of people with a hammer, including the friend you see on the right. And so the girl then rewrites the whole story, and in the rewrite, she makes it so that the girl survives. And then in the rewrite, the first girl, the kind of more outgoing girl, she gets killed. And so then the shut-in girl rewrites that story. And they rewrite each other's story, and it changes real life so that they both survive. But they went back and they were concerned that because of this arson that took place in 2019 of a Kyoto animation studio, they wanted to change it so that it didn't cheapen or try to cash in. I think it's more of a cultural thing, a local cultural thing, but they didn't want to cash in on that tragedy. And so they rewrote it. They rewrote it so that the guy who comes in, he's not paranoid schizophrenic. and they tried to take the manga studio portion out of it.
Good for them.
So they're just trying to, and then the other thing they said is they didn't want anybody who suffers from that kind of mental health problem to be the subject of discrimination or persecution as a result of this comic. So they rewrote it, revised it, and have re-released it.
How many printings of there was it? Was it out for a while?
So the way that they're doing that, this particular studio does, our publishing company does their releases, is they publish it in a magazine and
Shonen
online
Jump?
at the same time. Yeah, Shonen Jump. And this is Jump Plus.
Okay.
And so it's a separate magazine. So they had one printing of it, one weekly printing, and then they were going to release the whole thing as its own volume in a couple months that you could buy as its own individual thing. So the magazine has the original printing, but the volume when it comes out will have the revision.
Dude, I love that cover right there.
Yeah, Chainsaw Man is amazing.
Yeah. It says here, so let me ask you something. I love this type of stuff. I love how the magazine, the weekly Shonen Jump magazine has a lot of this like early stuff from a lot of these artists and stuff and characters. Are those weekly Shonen Jumps very collectible in the anime and manga world?
I couldn't tell you. I used to have a closet full of them, and I tried selling them, and I didn't get anywhere with them. I mean, since they have now gone digital primarily, they may be worth a lot more. But I couldn't tell you as to the value of those magazines. But
I would love to do a deep dive into that and check out, because some of those those weekly issues have like first appearances of big characters and first published work of big creators that we have that a lot of people in our world, the comic collectible world, don't know about yet. So I love stuff like that. We'll have to do a deep dive on one of these days.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'll certainly head that up.
Yeah. Dope stuff. Really cool stuff. 85 Live. Thanks for hanging out, you guys. We appreciate the hell out of you. Make sure you hit that that subscribe button. Hit that like, thumbs up. If you guys are already subscribed, hit the bell next to the subscribe button. That way you guys get notified anytime we drop any content. It's been a really crazy couple weeks here on the channel. We've had a lot of great numbers and interacting between the community and the shows and engagement, and it's just been a lot of fun. You guys make it super fun to do this, so thank you for hanging out with us.
Well, we got 85 plus people in here. Should we show off some of our pickups then?
Let's do it.
You want to start, Ish, or do you want me to start?
Top 5. You want to announce that?
Oh yeah, go ahead, Ish. Yeah, do it.
So we're gonna do a top 5 today, but it's the top. The chat is gonna pick the top 5. So the topic is name your favorite character from a particular toy line. So be it Ninja Turtles, G.I. Joe, Transformers, My Little Pony, Care Bears, whatever. What is your one favorite character? So
I know mine. I remember my favorite toy as a kid.
Comment that in the chat, and I will take note. And then later on, towards the end of the episode, we'll see if we can compile a top 5 out of everyone's picks.
Should we say ours to kind of prime the pump, to warm things up?
Prime that pump.
When you gave me the topic, my first choice is Raphael from Ninja Turtles. I had all the Ninja Turtles, but Raphael, I wore the paint off Raphael because I played with Raphael so much.
Off Raphael's nipple.
I wasn't too concerned about his turtle nipples, but yeah, I got to where I could manage all of his limbs with just one hand, and then I got 7 kids, man. I like to prime the pump. So I could manage the villain with the other hand. But But yeah, and then I had the absolute opportunity of the lifetime about a year ago, where I got to interview Rob Paulson, who was the voice of Raphael in the original TMNT series, and it was just absolute delight. So that Raphael's my number one in the top 5 for that.
I've got to go with Elvin as Voltron, man. I remember I only had a couple of them, and I would sit there before school, and it was you remember the metal Voltron toys? I remember before I'd go to school, I only had like 3, so I only had like one arm, one leg, so I would set it up and it would fall over because it didn't, but it was the metal ones. And like, I was so excited about it. That's probably one of my favorite toys growing up that I had, was those Voltron toys.
I can't pick just one. It's too hard.
It's hard.
Man.
It is like, we were talking in the chat before. I was like, dude, I had my Ninja Turtles up, and I was talking about how I had a bunk bed and I could fit them all in its own little cubby hole, and I could write their names, so they all had their own spot. I remember having Optimus Prime. How awesome Optimus Prime was! Like, those old Voltron toys, or those old Transformer toys, were fucking awesome to have too.
Yeah, I'd have to go with the version 2 Snake Eyes. That's definitely got to be my number one.
Your mom likes Barbie.
So good stuff. We'll keep note of that in the chat. I'm gonna go take a quick medication break while you guys start pickups.
All right. Well, my pick for the toy would be Destro. That's one of It's not the first G.I. Joe I ever got, but it's one of the first ones, and it was just so fucking weird. And I think he had an Uzi that came with it. It was just awesomeness all rolled into an action figure, Destro. So that's my choice.
Do you guys remember that movie, The Boy Who Could Fly?
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys ever watch that?
No.
So there was this part in it. What happened was he would play with G.I. Joes in the movie, and when they died, he would bury them because they were dead. And for some reason, when I was a kid, I just thought that was the coolest fucking thing ever. And I remember the scene where it was raining and he was trying to get them all again because, it was. But that's what I did to all of mine, as well as when they died, I'd bury them in the backyard. So there's probably an old house of mine that there's some lucky kid is on my fucking G.I. Joe toys.
Absolute Geek says all they could afford was a pet rock.
At least they knew when it was raining.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes that's all I care. Sometimes that's all it takes. Use your imagination. Probably not a lot of resale value, but it's precious to you. That's all that counts.
G.I. Joe Beachhead. That's a good choice.
Oh, right here. Look at this. Evil Knievel.
Get that $6 million man.
Wow, you've got a hell of a list going there, Ish.
I do. There's only 2 characters that are more than one have been chosen more than once. So I'm curious to see if we get any more overlaps here.
So I'll start with a couple things that I got. So thank you to where the fuck did it all go? Like I said, we're waiting for Tony to come on. I hope he pops in soon. Like I said before, we'll be giving one of these away. I hope you guys won't mind having one of those for free.
Beautiful. Yeah, Justin, sometimes the best revenge is a pet rock in the face.
Especially those people that live in the glass houses.
Yeah. People in glass houses shouldn't own pet rocks. Isn't that the saying?
Or anger someone with a pet rock.
Let me turn off my green screen quick. Okay, so to start, first thing I got to show off is shout out to Ish for getting this for me, but let me see if I can do this. I'm not. I did it. So the 1 in 10 Stray Dogs Crow cover
In minty condition.
Yes. So when Tony,
That's beautiful.
between that and two of my favorites, it just
be careful that you're not putting indentations with those fingers of yours.
Yeah.
with my sausage fingers.
And didn't we talk about that a couple weeks ago?
Yes.
That's what got your unicorn downgraded at EGS.
Yeah.
So and I might give some more of these away too, but I ended up with I got the Stray Dogs blank cover.
That's cool, man.
Stray Dogs 3, Stray Dogs 4. And everybody knows what movies these are, right? I don't have to rattle off what movies they are. Here's the 28 Days Later. I think somebody in the... So shout out to Ish for ordering.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you got all of the covers, man.
Yeah,
are you considering getting the Crow ungraded?
I am considering. I'm thinking about it, and I do actually have an extra set of them as well.
Bet you Tony could make you a dope label for it over at Executive Grading Services or Expert Grading Services.
Dude, Kyle, you own so many Stray Dogs. You ought to put in a petition with Tony to have him make you one of his victims in the sequel to Stray Dogs.
Yes.
Oh man, I wish I could be the YouTube personality that gets murdered live on.
That's awesome.
That'd be fantastic.
So I got that, and then I ended up with. I know we're going to talk about it later. So I know everybody. So I think this is the cover A to the Me, You, Love in the Dark. But I also got this cover as well. I thought this was actually a cool look. Oh, that's a different book. Never mind. Where'd the other one go? That's We Don't Kill Spiders. Damn it. I thought I had 2 covers. But this was actually cool too. I know everybody got a whole bunch of those books. But those were... Today, yes, it was my Stray Dogs. This was my Stray Dogs week at the comic book store. Where is... This was actually... I'm going to talk about this book later, but this was actually a pretty cool book.
That looks really cool. I like the mask there at the bottom.
It was... And then I thought I had 2 covers of it. But yeah, so I got... Well, we got 89 people in here. We'll do one giveaway right now. How about we do that? How should we give this book away?
I don't know.
Test their Stray Dogs trivia skills.
Oh, snap.
Who let the dogs out?
Let's see. Yeah, I think every store has been ordering heavy on those Stray Dogs just because they've gotten so hot.
Because they watched this show.
I figured, all the Stray Dogs talk would summon Tony to pop into our chat and our backstage so that we can what the heck? So what we'll do is
I got a couple pickups.
Oh, do it. Here, let me switch to you. Thank you. You saved me. Hold on.
So I picked this up, Miss Marvel #7, only because I collect MODOK covers.
Nice. I'm right there with you, brother.
There you go, MODOK. So, kind of a random pickup, but not so random because it's MODOK. Another one I got Daredevil, the current run, Chip Zdarsky. This is volume 3. Definitely one of the better written current Marvel titles by far. Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil, worth checking out. And then another pickup right here. And it is a Star Trek pickup. So this is a facsimile edition of IDW's Debt of Honor by Chris Claremont. And it's a big old like treasury size.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
So this is actually a really cool story written by legendary Chris Claremont, best known for X-Men. And IDW just released a beautiful treasury facsimile edition. So I was really glad to pick that up. It was $9.99. And
nice.
then I got one more Trek pickup. I showed you some pops last week that I got, the Khan and the Sulu. And this week
Sulu.
I got the Gorn. So this is from a classic episode of the original series where Kirk fights the Gorn on a planet. So Funko Pop time. Hey, who's booing Star Trek? JJ.
They lampoon that scene in Galaxy Quest where he says,
"Yeah,
can you make some sort of rudimentary lathe?"
That's a great episode.
So I mean, you said in the chat that you had a fashion pickup. Are we going to?
I do have another pickup. I will have to go off camera for like 10 seconds. So hold on.
I just got word from Tony. He should be hopping in any minute. Actually, he emailed me back, and I was too busy on the show to actually respond to him. So I'm hoping, because we're friends. Me and him are like good friends. So
yeah,
like good friends, like best friends.
Not just that you didn't just force him to sign that on a comic book. You actually are.
We're
friends.
not quite to finishing each other's sentences like me and McClay are, but it's. I get goosebumps when he emails me. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
and you know what? And he's gonna be so excited when I go like this. And I start flexing.
Oh snap!
I got the fucking Craig Robinson Pizza Hut tracksuit. I was so excited to get this. Dude, it is dope. It's like really nice material.
Dude,
it's totally legit.
It's the tablecloth.
It is. And there's one part even has, you guys see it? Tastemaker.
Oh, I thought you were going to show us something else.
That's awesome.
The
That's
tag on
awesome.
the back is the Pizza Hut logo.
I thought you were joking when you said that.
No way, man. It feels nice too. It's real comfortable.
That's pretty
You
nice.
should have seen the look on my wife's face when I pulled it out. And I waited till the commercial was on, and during the commercial, I whipped it out of the packaging, and we were just like, "What the fuck?"
That's hilarious. I picked up a kind of an eyebrow raiser too a couple weeks ago, but it was a leopard print dinner jacket.
Oh,
dude, I think I'd rather have the Pizza Hut tracksuit.
So every time I order Pizza Hut, I got to answer the door wearing this.
Oh my fucking God, I hope so.
And then you have to do a breakdance battle for their tip.
Oh.
Dude, you got your own piece of fucking cardboard you just throw out at the front door.
It's a Pizza Hut box.
If you can break me, then I'll give you $20 tip.
No, it's a whole bunch of pizza boxes taped together.
Could you imagine if Ish was like a super dope B-boy, like
oh man,
like Ozone style?
Dude, I saw
maybe not until 2 minutes ago, but now I totally can.
I saw Breakin' in theaters when it came out. Shabadoo and I forget the other kid's name. They blew my mind. I remember telling my mom,
Ozone.
Can I go? Yeah. Can I go to breakdance lessons? Like I wanted to do it so bad.
Yeah, man.
Pizza the Hut.
One of the new hosts for Absolute Geek Podcast, Lance, when he texts or calls, that's my icon for him is Pizza the Hut.
Why?
I don't remember why. Because I call him Lance Pepperoni.
Oh yeah, his
last name. Yeah, his last name.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's amazing.
It's legit.
Yeah, man. I remember Breakin' 2 was like one of my favorite videos to rent for the longest time. I must have rented that video like 3 weeks out of every summer at one point when I was a kid.
Break into Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what? The first movie though, the fucking the broom dance.
Yeah, the broom. That's one of the most amazing.
That's up there with like MGM musicals. Like that's an amazing moment in movie history.
I agree, man. Great stuff. Great stuff. Love that. That and what was there was like 3 movies I remember always getting at the
Beat Street is another one.
Well, for me it was Breaking 2, Electric Boogaloo. Shout out Tony. What up, Tony? How you doing, brother?
Okay.
It was Breaking 2, Electric Boogaloo, Never Ending Story, and Garbage Pail Kids. Those 3 movies I rented probably like 10 times during one summer. Crazy stuff.
How's it going, Tony?
Tony's got to give his input for our top 5.
Oh yeah, let him know our top 5.
Top five.
So we're asking everybody on the show and in the chat their favorite all-time toy figure character. Number 1. They're number 1.
As a kid.
Oh, as a kid, it was the Dusty G.I. Joe figure with the flap on the head.
Yeah.
Funny story. I love that toy, and there was an episode of G.I. Joe where Dusty was like a double agent, like he pretended to be Cobra for an episode, and it was a cliffhanger. And I got so fucking mad that I buried that shit in the backyard and could never find it again. I didn't even watch the next episode when they revealed that he was not, in fact, a traitor. I didn't find out until like last year.
That was it. You were like, forget it. I'm done with this.
I loved that toy. I loved Hard, and I hated Hard when he betrayed me like that.
The traitor episode.
Yeah. I didn't know it was part 1 of 2.
Look at this, man. They go hard on it. Joepedia. Shout out to G.I. Joepedia.
I was telling a buddy that story last year, just about me burying it in the backyard, and he was like, "Dusty's not a traitor." And I was like, "I mean, he is a traitor. He's the worst G.I. Joe ever."
You know what's funny? Dusty was the very first G.I. Joe I ever picked off the shelves myself. Very first G.I. Joe. Yeah,
mine was the sailor one with the tattoo.
Oh,
of course
you can't be
it was,
a G.I. Joe
Kyle.
fan. Of course it was. Yeah.
Mine was Roadblock.
Of course it was. Of course it was.
And I
Mine
remember
was whoever was flying the Blackbird.
my godfather, who was in Vietnam, when I showed him the Roadblock figure, he corrected me. He's like, "You can't hold an M60 with one hand. That's ridiculous."
I don't want to slow down the list right now, but Kyle, did you think about maybe growing a beard for tonight, or that was never in the cards for you?
You know what? I just got tired of the beard and I shaved it all off a few weeks ago.
Could have been a full house salt and pepper beard situation.
I know.
Right now you're being judged by the Council of Beards.
We could have been a full house. You're right.
Council of Beards or Bears?
Here.
Both.
Bears.
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah, both.
I'm just going to do that.
Yeah, get him out of here.
Oh God, that's funny, man. Chad Cave says, I also had the $6 million man doll with the hollowed out head so you could look through his eye. Replaceable bionic
that's a
part to his
crazy
arm.
figure.
I saw the same type of doll from the $6 million man show, but it wasn't. Sorry, not the same. It was the Bigfoot from that episode, that one major episode of $6 Million Man, and it was like a couple $100, $400 or $500, something like that. It was crazy. I agree with Zartan. Zartan was my second favorite. Super dope figure. Kyle, the Beardbarian. There you go. Non-beard Barian. He doesn't have a beard. What are you guys talking about?
Did Zartan change colors, or was that different figures?
Hell yeah, he did. He turned blue in the sun.
Right.
One of the coolest things ever. And he had that cool mask that you put on and it fit in his hood.
Yeah.
And it looked like a different Joe. Yeah, super dope. They actually just put out a new Zartan figure that he doesn't. I think he, instead of turning blue in the sun, he turns blue when you run him under cold water or something, which is kind of silly, but whatever. I had Zartan in his box as a vehicle, sold him back in 2006. Wish I had him still. Yeah, so do I. That is one of the coolest figures ever that came with that little chameleon vehicle he had. And for the longest time, there was a version of that I chased forever because it said that he was, what is the word when you got voices in your head?
Brian, crazy.
I know that's stoned. I'm too stoned to remember that word right now. So it's definitely not that. What is that called?
Like schizophrenic?
Schizophrenic, yeah. On the back of his file card, it says Zartan suffers from schizophrenia. And they had to take that off like a couple months into the production run. So if you still have your Zartan file card, look on the back and see if it says that he's schizophrenic. It's a collector's item. Cool stuff.
That'd be cool to have.
Yeah. Yeah, dope. Did you guys go through all your pickups already?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Well,
Well,
you missed it, Tony. That's all I showed off was Stray Dogs.
I tell you what, Kyle, I was watching, so I appreciate you.
There we go. I'm gonna go through some. I'm gonna go through some pickups that I rarely ever have pickups, but I found some cool stuff. Really cool stuff. A Playboy when they had Big Bush. Or I mean, John Lennon. No, John Lennon. This is the John Lennon issue, the famous interview with John Lennon. Pretty cool. It's got all the original stuff in it. I collect super cool like magazines and stuff, like famous magazines. I also have the John Lennon, Yoko Ono, Rolling Stone too. But this is really cool because it has if there's any Beatles fans out there, this is a really famous issue where he did. I'm trying to find it where he did the interview. Oh, I can't find it for some reason. Anyways, this is a cool issue, and
Does it still smell like cologne and stuff?
I hope not. God, I hope not. Probably does.
I remember saving up all my lunch money for the Cindy Crawford Playboy in like 5th grade.
Oh boy.
The dude stole it from his dad. You know, he's like, I stole this from my dad, but I saved up my lunch money for like, I don't know what he stole it to me for, like $10 or something. And he brought it to me in a bag, and we met out on the playground, and I was so excited to get. I didn't even know what happened to it. I don't know if I got caught with it. I don't know if but it was a Cindy Crawford issue. I was so excited.
Yeah, there you go.
Shout out to any of those bad kids that were selling porn to other kids in grade school.
Yeah,
right? I wonder whatever
Saviors.
happened to him.
Yeah, saviors.
Yeah.
All right, so that is that. I love this this homage to Transformers. I pick this up every time I see it. Homage to X-Men. This Transformers issue, super dope issue number 5. I picked up some old school Wizards, and this was in one of them, the Wu-Tang special issue. I forgot that Wu-Tang put out comics. How dope is this?
An Image, right?
Yeah, that is so cool.
Yeah.
So that was in there.
Isn't RZA or something putting out another comic book again, or Method Man?
He might.
I think
He
Method
might.
Man's about to put out a new comic book.
Method's Man's got a podcast going, a comic book podcast
Ooh, that's interesting.
On
We'll have
Marvel,
to check that
yeah.
out.
Oh,
I think it's on Sirius Satellite Radio.
So
yes,
here
correct,
are
but serious.
here are the Wizards I bought, and a couple reasons why I bought them. They're unopened, and I don't know if you guys remember, but Wizards had these cool chromium cards in them for a while, and they were numbered. And this is the Spider-Man one that has the die cut one. So cool. So I collect those. I want to get like a really dope set of all those
Are they
cards.
worth anything?
What's that?
Are they worth anything, those cards?
I don't know. They could be.
I'm surprised you haven't looked that up.
Yeah. Here's another interesting one with all the crazy card sales. This one has Marvel Masterpiece promos on the back. It's a 4-card promo sheet. So I don't know. And it's got the Vampirella mini comic.
You guys are
right?
selling for some money.
It might be. This is a really cool Silvestri cover of Psylocke. And then this one has on the back the Fleer Metal Chromium cards for Marvel, which are super hot right now. This, though, I was so stoked to get. Look how dope this Darth Maul cover is.
Oh wow.
Yeah, super dope. So
Joe Jusko.
yeah, absolutely awesome. Yeah, 99 Joe Jusko.
Right.
Super cool. And then this, I don't know if you guys remember this storyline, the Maximum Clonage storyline, but when I was a kid, these acetate covers were so cool to me. And this is the whole set, parts 1 through 3. Spider-Man Alpha, Web of Spider-Man 127, and 404. So pretty cool stuff. I'm a nerd when it comes to wizard and finding old wizards. That is my go-to. If I see a box of wizards over a box of like Silver Age, I go to Wizard. I'll go look through the wizards. So
Well, now that we got go ahead, Tony.
I'm on the hunt for an issue of Combo magazine right now myself.
ooh,
Because
which one?
I don't know what issue it is, but it's the one that has the Trent Kaniga Creed interview in it. Because I bought this. It was like a Creed cover, but it was the back cover of Combo, and I want to get the magazine that it's from.
I know, dude. I love those old Trent Kaniga comics that he was putting out.
I think we're going to get along just fine.
What's that?
So I think we're going to get along just fine here.
I was just looking through some old. What was his? What else he did? He worked with a lot of really up and coming art creators back then when he was doing all those books.
Well, yeah, he did. Creed was at Hall of Heroes. That's where Ian Skyver came from.
Yep.
And this dude Matthew Martin, who I was like obsessed with. And then he went and drew Ghost Rider at Marvel in the late 90s, early 2000s. But he also did like Scud the Disposable Assassin too.
Yep.
For a few issues. I was super obsessed with those guys because, Matt Martin and Trent Kaniga specifically, because they were like a year or two older than me and they were making comics. And I was just like, that's so crazy. Like, I should probably be making comics about next year, when I was in the 10th grade. It took me a little bit longer, but I got there.
I love all those books. I love like it kind of carried on into like some really amazing early like you said, Dan Skyver stuff. Like also like there was that Snowman series, the Vortex series.
I keep right by my table here. In Complete Works. I'm gonna have a mess. Some books are gonna fall over. The Complete Works here of Matthew Martin.
Yes,
all the Snowman, all the Vortex.
I have 2 of those Vortexes on the back, man. I love this. This is awesome.
Yeah, that is my shit.
That is great. We're gonna have to get in. We'll have to do a spotlight on Hall of Heroes and that whole thing one of these nights.
For years, I've wanted somebody to do like a deep dive interview. Like you and me are the only people that would care. But I want to know what Matt Martin's deal is because, I feel like I do know what it is, but when he started making comics, he was making like that Vortex comic was a religious comic and like a hardcore like born again Christian comic where like he was an aborted baby. Like he's like Swan, but he's like an aborted baby that's brought back from hell and Jesus saved him and stuff. And then there was this model that he was in love with, and she was like gonna do like pose nude, and that was like a huge crisis, and he like saved her soul and she found Jesus with him and stuff. And then somehow
I'm sold. I'm finding him.
By the time Snowman comes around, it's just like gore and rape and nudity and like viscera and stuff. Just like, what happened, bro? Like this guy, it seems like something dark went on.
Yeah, drugs, lots of drugs.
Sounds like he got a falling out with the man upstairs.
Yeah, well, it sort of happened at the same time because I was raised religious, and like when I went to, we're getting deep this right here at the beginning. Like at a certain point, you sort of reassess your growing up, and you're like, is this what I'm going to do? And so I was sort of going through that at the same time. I did not draw, detailed rape scenes in comic books, but like, I went my own way. But yeah, that guy, something really happened there. I would love to know what happened.
Yeah, I would love to hear about all those guys over there. I know Van Sciver has his own thing going, and Trent. Yeah. Trent. I heard something recently about Trent, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but something about him doing something, maybe doing something new, or something like that.
He's been working at Wizards of the Coast for years. He has like a YouTube channel, and he does videos about like how to do concept art and stuff for video games, and he does like a lot of cool stuff on YouTube. But yeah, he's been working on World of Warcraft forever. And they're doing a new like novel series or something. I don't know.
He works for World of Warcraft?
Yeah, designs for that.
No shit. Holy cow, that is awesome. I didn't know that. That is crazy. Now we're gonna have to find him. We're gonna have to get him on and do a deep dive. That is really cool.
Wizards of the Coast the first time, but I meant
yeah, that is awesome. I'm gonna now. I had no idea he was working. I'm a huge World of Warcraft fan. I had quit playing it a couple years ago, but man, that game is super amazing. Too amazing. Well, I don't know about now. I know they got some problems. I probably shouldn't be talking about Blizzard being amazing right now, but
sure, yeah.
Trent was a concept designer. Wow, I didn't know that. Wow,
I don't think he picked up in all that Michigas. I think
yeah. I hope
Trent is okay.
Yeah, super dope stuff.
You want me to? I've got a good segue, I think.
Let's get it.
Of course, you got that acetate covers on those Spider-Mans this week. Great pull. Trent Kaniga, of course, had the Wizard Ace Edition acetate cover. Who could forget? Stray Dogs, the first acetate cover that I've seen in years.
Yes.
We're bringing it back.
Yeah. The cover that everybody wants right now. Everybody's going crazy for that book. Thank God.
Thank heavens. Yeah.
Yes. We were talking about the free comic book day stuff early on, and we were going over, let me see if I can find it here. We were going over all the books, and we wanted to ask you about the here we go. I'm gonna go find it. We wanted to ask you about the Stray Dogs free comic book day book, which you have. Looks like there's a variant coming for that too.
Yeah, crazy. They really found a way to do a variant of everything they could on this book. And by then,
which is awesome, though, right? Like, did you imagine that it was even going to?
No, and I don't know what I would have done. Like, I just finished up Rick and Morty stuff, and I finished my last My Little Pony stuff and My Little Pony Transformers. If I would have been working on a book or something when all these covers came up needing to be done, it would have been a real nightmare. Luckily, I just sort of. My schedule worked out where all these requests would come in and me and Trish could knock these out. That one is the Comics Bug variant, and it's at the Comics Bug in Manhattan Beach, California. They've got that one, and they have a virgin copy where it's just the skull and the flames and the dogs.
Do they have them on their website?
No, I
it's a free book.
Yeah, I talked to them earlier this week. I'm putting together a print for this because they're also doing a screening of Jason Goes to Hell the Friday before. So the night before Free Comic Book Day, they have a screening of Jason Goes to Hell with the director, Adam Marcus. And he, I guess, is a fan of my book. And so he's coming to the signing too at Comics Bug, and he'll sign these variant covers with me. And then when you go to the screening, you can get a print of this that is a little bit different.
Can you put one of these aside for me?
I'll do my best. Is the Wookiee still coming out to this signing? You guys were sending representatives to this, right?
Yeah.
Wookiee's supposed to be coming out to it. Yes.
Well, not only that, I want to say there was a couple of Flipside guys that are going to do their best to get out there too. That I think Comic Bug is they're one of their regular stores. Have they talked about it on their page yet at all?
They're one of these shops that is just they have this thing that is that people are clamoring for, and they're just sort of playing it real cool, like they're just being real low key about it. There's a couple shops that are just shops, like they haven't switched over to doing a lot of online stuff, and so. To make even more infuriating for collectors, these guys are just like, oh, just hit us up on Facebook. We'll see what we can do. It's just like, oh shit. And then they're getting calls and people are like emailing them, and so hopefully they have some sort of way for people to get a hold of it. I would hate for it to be one of those things where, like, just because you don't live near Manhattan Beach, you got to pay a fortune for it online.
Yeah, it's super. It's a great idea.
Yes.
The skull cover. Anytime you throw a skull on a cover, whether it's an homage or not, man, it's something that I want to try and buy. And the homage cover thing that you guys have been doing has been, you guys have been picking, or whoever has been picking the covers has been picking really good ones that haven't been homaged to death.
Yeah,
which
that's
I really
pretty
like.
Much
good.
They like a lot of times people ask for ones that have been homaged to death. Thank you.
The quill cover, I love it.
And I'm sort of hesitant to do ones that have been done over and over again. Like we did the Bird City one we did that was it.
Ooh.
They had done that Deceased cover like a couple years ago, and I was a little bit hesitant about it, but then I looked at that Deceased cover and I was like, could do better than this. So like that's sort of where like the line that I draw is I have to feel like we can bring something. I don't want to be like the 6th Jaws cover, the 10th Nightmare on Elm Street or whatever.
Yeah. Well, they're speaking of Bird City.
Yes,
the Goosebumps trade paperback that
cool.
was announced was absolutely. I'm bringing it up as I talk about it here, but that was absolutely awesome. I mean, talk about hitting the nostalgia factor for people. There we go.
Yeah,
James is asking about. That's even cooler. James is asking, are you going to be at Golden Apple?
Yeah. So I'll be at Golden Apple from 10 to noon, and then I'm going to be at Comics Bug from 1 until I think 4. And then I'll be at the other Comics Bug on Sunday because they're doing their free comic book day at this. They have 2 shops.
We need to get you here in Phoenix.
Well, I told you, man. Give me a little dough in a hotel.
There we go. We can do that.
We'll have to figure that out.
Yeah. Well, here's
I'll be Saturday and Sunday free comic book day at Comic Bug.
People are already asking about the Stray Dogs Goosebumps books. I think they're going to be on sale a little bit closer to Baltimore, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
It is a Baltimore Comic-Con exclusive.
Yeah, they did a limited pre-sale when they announced them, just basically like for the time when their show was on. And then they're going to sell them at Baltimore. And then if there are any left over after Baltimore, they'll put them online.
Yeah. Well, let's all keep our fingers crossed about Baltimore. You guys, Baltimore is going to be a blast. It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait for that. So another reason to be in Baltimore if any of you guys are close, are out there on the East Coast, the week of October 22nd, I believe it is. Going to be a lot of fun. Flipside's going to be out there in mass.
To answer that guy's question, I wish the Stray Dogs logo on that Goosebumps cover was going to be puffy, but I don't even think that's an option. It is going to glow in the dark, like the logo and all the purple around the outside, and then the doorway and the window are all going to glow in the dark.
Awesome.
I bet
hold on real quick, Brian. We got 110 people in chat. And how about Tony? I want to give a couple Stray Dogs books away to our listeners.
Yeah, let's do it.
Why don't you? How about let's do a trivia fact about Stray Dogs? Something about in the book. If first person to answer it, I'll ship them as Stray Dogs.
Okay. Well,
unless you can think of something cooler.
What is the name of the poodle?
Let's see here. The first person that gets it is going to win a copy of Stray Dogs number 4. Is that what it is, Kyle?
Stray Dogs 5-second printing.
5-second printing. There we go. So we'll leave the chat up for a little bit here, you guys, and till we get a winner. Pepper.
Nope.
Not wrong.
Not Reggie. If you're wrong in the first issue or in the front page of every issue.
We were talking about that, the free comic book day, the original cover. Mm-hmm. Knowing what the story is, That's a super creepy cover.
Yeah. Agree. Thank you. Yeah, I was like the coloring on it. It just looks like a real soft, plain cover, you know. Until you like, if you just are walking past it without giving it a glance, you just be like, "Oh, that looks soft." And then when you look at it again, you're just like, "Oh, that's not good. This is not something bad's going on here." Trace Hunter got it.
Boom! Shout out to Trace Hunter. Congratulations.
So hit up the Modern Comic Mayhem Instagram with your info, and I'll ship it out to you this week. So I was at my local comic book store, and we were talking about, I don't know if you caught this, we were talking about this earlier. They were, speaking of the free comic days, they were like, you know how it's geared towards new readers is the point of free comic book day. Yeah. And a lot of people bring their young children out to come get free comic books. And they actually said they were kind of nervous to give the Stray Dogs book out for the simple fact is we're giving this book out to small children and their parents are going to look through it and there's a woman being strangled in it because, so they were like, I wonder what the age bracket is. And it's pretty easy to tell, but how many parents out there they're going to be like, they're going to see this cute, innocent Stray Dogs cover with the dog and a butterfly, not knowing why there's a guy actually taking a Polaroid.
I think on our cover, it has the teen plus, but that's sort of small. I wonder about that too. I mean, I'm not like super concerned about it because we were concerned about it originally, but then all we've really heard on that front is just like people saying like, "Oh, my kid got this, and then she loved it," and I'm like, "Oh, well, all right," I keep a closer eye on things.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, but kids today, they see so much. Do you think it's actually going to be that?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. Like the whole book, all 5 issues, it's dark and grim and scary and stuff. But like, there's a couple really like gruesome moments, but it's not anything the kid can see on TV. I'm not worried about like having to fend off lawsuits or anything. I don't think shops should be either.
I just promised I would ask.
Squad.
Say again?
It's no Suicide Squad.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of Suicide Squad, we have a review coming up, you guys. So stick around for that. 100 live viewers, right? 106 live viewers right now. Again, thanks for everybody hanging out with us. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and let us know what you think of the show. Hit that like button, the bell if you haven't already.
You guys have a CGC signing you guys are doing.
Yeah. I'm not sure when. Exactly, we haven't got the tickets booked yet, but me and Trish are flying down to Florida and going into the hallowed halls of CGC and sign a bunch of stuff. That's sort of we did a reprint of the sketch cover, and that was sort of the reason because when we announced the CGC signing, the original sketch cover prices went crazy. Mm-hmm. It was just like, well, I can't have people paying $90 for a blank cover. Let's just get more of those out there so that it's not a good
for you.
Yeah, I mean, on the one hand, I never want to mess with like the aftermarket too much. I feel like that's the whole thing that I'm not even. I have no control, or I'm not really any part of it. We just put the book out, and then it does what it does. But yeah, I felt like I don't want to ask people to spend $70 to get a sketch from me and Trish, and then also have to spend $90 beforehand, and so hopefully that fixed that issue.
If I send a picture of a guinea pig, would you guys sketch that, or does it have to
be a dog? We've been making, I don't know. I will say publicly that for all these people watching, it has to be a dog. But if you sent a special note and said it's my guinea pig, we could probably help you.
I feel like you could probably charge Kyle double the price and he'd pay us.
Yeah. He's crazy about these guinea pigs. He's always bringing them up when I'm on here.
Hey, we're a guinea pig family here.
So you said.
Man. So what's life like after Straight On? Like, you made this book and it's everybody's talking. Who's not talking about Stray Dogs? Like, how cool is that? Anytime you go on any kind of social media, you see everybody going, I need stray dogs. Like, I mean, how awesome can that be feeling?
Yeah, it's I have to try and keep my humility in check and try and stay, a normal person. As you can tell, I'm just my ego's out of control nowadays. I used to be very humble, and now I'm just a monster. But there's
now you're collecting your own books. Forget about everybody else's stuff. Forget about all that stuff you got on your shelves.
Yeah, I got pick up Stray Dogs number 1, Stray Dogs number 2. No, there's like a Facebook group that has just like 600 and some people in it that are just talking about stray dogs. They post pictures of their dogs. They trade. They're trying to find all the covers and stuff. And they're like, when they put out these new variants, like when the shops put out variants, they'll go to the Facebook group first, and then they'll just sell. They could sell all of them if they stayed in that Facebook group. It's wild, but like on the practical side, it really is great, and I'm really grateful for how wonderfully the whole has gone, because when I was just working on like My Little Pony and stuff, I would have to hustle and struggle and really cram to get enough stuff done that I could take like a month off and work on my own new stuff, and like, 'cause that's always the goal, is just to eventually just be my own guy and make my own stuff. I also got to pay rent. And so in the past, the most I've ever been able to get is like, 6 weeks off. And then it's like the pressure's on and you really got to get stuff done. And then, if you get to, I remember one time I got to the end of the 6 weeks and I had like hardly anything to show for it. And I was just so crestfallen. And now, because Stray Dog's done so well, like I can take a year and just work on stuff, and that's crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is really cool.
It's wild. It's obviously better than
going, I have Stray Dogs money.
It's obviously gone better than either Trish or I had ever imagined. So
now you wish you went to issue 10.
Believe me, yeah. If we would have had 10 more issues or 5 more issues worth of stuff to talk about, I would have.
Does that make you think, shoot, I wish I could expand on like, the prequel that, I've got this prequel for the free comic days, or is there thoughts of like, well, shit, maybe I could do a whole prequel building up to what he has become? Or
well, so we are doing we're doing this Dog Days miniseries in it's like a micro series really in December and January, and it's basically, the plan was always, this is a 5-issue story, like the whole story's here in 5 issues and it moves really fast, but if it is successful enough, we want to do like a series of short stories where we focus on each of the other dogs, because it moves so fast. There's some dogs that I feel like we didn't really get to spend enough time with, or like Trish and I love so much, and we're like, if the book does well enough that other people love these dogs, then we'll do this 50-page thing where it's 10 short stories, and then that'll be it. That'll be the whole Stray Dog story. Like there's nothing else. And so we're doing that, and it's in 2 issues, 5 short stories per issue, and that's at the end of the year.
Nice. But
yeah,
Stray Dogs.
It's doing so well that it's like we should have done 1 issue for every dog. That would have, that would have really paid off. But I think after a while, people would just be like, "All right, he kills the women. It's fine. Just wrap it up."
I bet you not. I bet you everybody would still be clamoring out to get it. 1 issue per dog. 1 issue per dog of how they got. I think.
Right.
I think people would love it. Just how much everybody loves Stray Dogs. Just having those extra issues, I think, would just be awesome.
I think so. I mean, like, I think we could get away with it for sure, but I do think there's something special about just having it be the story, and just having it be like, that's all there is. It's all, like, do you want to have like 1 great meal or like 10 okay meals,
Yeah.
Amen.
So,
well, it's nice to be able to take time just to work on a lot of the projects that you've been wanting to work on. I'm sure there's just, tons of different things that you're starting to set up. But do you have, big plans? Any plans that coming up that we can let people know about maybe?
Yeah, well, I talked to these guys before about Time Shopper. That Kickstarter, like my buddy was over here working on it today. We're getting ready to launch it. We're going to try and have everything ready to go by when the trade comes out for Stray Dogs. So it's just sort of like, that's done, launch this, and then do that. And then I got the thumbs up on what my next thing is at Image, and that's real early days, but it's going to be people that like Stray Dogs, unless they're just exclusively dog people, will like this. I mean, it's
awesome.
It's in the it's guinea pigs. So
finally, you listened. No, I'm just playing.
Yeah, we're switching up the animals, and it's not horror, but it's a similar sort of like animal genre thing. So
awesome.
Yeah,
stray cats.
that would be the cash grab for sure.
Yeah,
I bet
stray
you,
cats with their buttholes.
The butthole cut for sure.
I bet you Image is a lot nicer to you now, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, they've been great the whole time, but absolutely, when you're just coming up and just a person who draws My Little Pony comics, like nobody is really at Image is really looking to return your calls too fast. And yeah, it's nice to have this under my belt so that I can have a little bit of a, like I said before, like breathing room or a little bit of. I can't get too comfortable, but it's not that same sort of panic where it's just like, oh, will anyone read my books? Like, because I lived in that world for so long. Did
you get that call? It's like, hey Tony, it's Robert Kirkman. How's it going, buddy?
No, I haven't gotten any of those calls. I haven't gotten like any sort of like people reaching out from Marvel or DC or any other companies to write or anything. Like I feel like the book is weird enough that you can't really, like if you're at Marvel, you're not just going to be like, oh, well, we could probably do a dog murder thing over here too. Like there's just like Lockjaw trying to figure out who's killing off the Inhumans, or that's probably a good idea. I forget I said that. Cut that.
We'll edit it out. Don't worry.
Lockjaw Investigations.
Yeah.
If Jerry Duggan ever
like
leaves Savage Avengers, he'd be perfect for it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, they don't know me over there. I do covers at Marvel sometimes, and when the last one I did was when Stray Dogs was coming out, and I emailed the editor the artwork, and I was like, oh, also I have this book coming out. It's doing pretty good, and she was like, oh, I haven't even heard of that. And I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Is there any projects that are your Grail projects that you would love to work on if they called you?
Not really. I drew Star Wars. I guess I drew Star Wars Adventures. I don't want to put on airs, but if I could write and draw something Star Wars and really have it be like my whole voice, like I feel like that would be cool. But drawing Star Wars sort of closed that loop for me. Like I'm fine.
That's awesome.
I don't love anything more than Star Wars. I mean, I love comics. I love X-Men and like Batman but I don't know that I necessarily have a story for those things. All of my stories are sort of a little more out there. And so the older I've got, when I was younger, I was like, oh, I want to do New Mutants or, something like that. But the older I've gotten, I'm just like, I would just be happy doing my own stuff. I have a list of books that I'm trying to get through before I kick. And so I'm just going to do my best to just stick on that and get all that stuff done.
All right. You probably have people pitching you ideas all the time, but I'm just going to say one right here. Stray Tauntauns.
Ooh, that's not bad either.
Kind of a mixing of universes,
I did it. So one of those Star Wars adventures I did was basically Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer with Tauntauns, where there was a Tauntaun that had a very long tail, and all the other Tauntauns made fun of him and let him play in their Tauntaun games. And then when they were taunting him.
Yeah.
When the Empire attacked Hoth, he had been he had joined the rebellion, and there was this rebellion guy that was riding around on him now, and his long tail was great for knocking over stormtroopers with, and so he got to be like a hero of the rebellion at the end. All these other Tauntauns looking like little bitches. So
I like it.
Yeah, that was my first Star Wars story. I was very psyched about that. I love creatures.
That's great.
Yeah. Did you see Suicide Squad yet, Tony?
No, I'm going on Tuesday. I guess I didn't even realize it was going to be free because we go to the movies on Tuesday, and we were just like, let's get tickets for Suicide Squad, and we did. And now all my friends have seen it, and I'm just like, I don't know.
What is their consensus on it?
So far, the word is good. Did you guys like it?
Very much.
I loved it.
I don't have a James Gunn movie that I don't like, really. So I feel like it'll probably at least be, good-ish. No thoughts?
I did not like it very much.
Okay.
I thought you saw it twice.
I did see it
I thought you
twice.
saw it twice.
I did see
So
it
you're
twice.
just double checking.
Yeah, kind of. I'm not hating on the movie whatsoever. I just, I don't know. There's some parts that there's some good and bad, but overall, I'm giving it a thumbs down.
After
It's the most I'll say this: it's the most expensive trauma movie ever made.
Well, after I get done here, you guys go wild on Suicide Squad, and then
We won't give
after
anything
Tuesday,
Yeah.
I'll pop back in and see what everybody had to say.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think where to go? I think Hartman said it did horrible, but it's amazing. I think it only made $12 million in the movie theater, but I think it's because it took $20 million to make.
Give it a weekend though.
But I think the other thing was we got to watch it at home on HBO Max. Yeah. So I think everybody watched it at home because I think everyone has this idea, since everyone has it stuck in their head that DC movies suck, I might as well just go watch it at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I'll say this. Yeah, having seen it twice at home and not really digging it, I think had I seen it in IMAX, I might have liked it a lot more. If it was, in IMAX, it'd be a much more visceral experience with the movie in your face. At home, I'm like nitpicking it to death.
Yeah.
So I think I do recommend, if you're going to go see in theaters, IMAX might be a real good option for that.
See, really, that's the part I enjoyed about it, though. I got to pause it to go to the bathroom. All over your
face.
Got to rewind it. Got to push play again. You know what I mean? Like, pause it, went to the bathroom, pause it to go get ice cream. Like I thought that was the best part of it. I didn't have to miss anything to get up.
Well, if going to the bathroom is the best part of it, I think
it is. Right. You pause, you go take a leak, you don't have to miss nothing. You don't have to go, excuse me. Through a dark
I get
theater.
it though. Some people like the whole just going out and taking the night off and not worrying about anything, and that's the sad part about it. Like there's it's almost like Americana, like the whole movie theater experience, and I get that. I mean, that's going away, but with all these
I have to go actually sit in the movie theater half the time to even feel like I'm watching it at all, because even a movie that I'm enjoying, if I'm at home, I'll just pick up my phone or it's hard for me to focus in this whatever world we're in now.
Yeah.
And also, since I work here too, if I'm sitting in the living room, my office is back here, the work is never done. So I'm just sitting there going probably, I should probably wrap this up soon and get back to work or get to sleep so I can get to work again. The theater, you're like in that Daredevil tank from the Ben Affleck movie where it's just the only thing happening here is this, and and whoever's talking or chewing too loud next to me.
Yeah, I think that the other thing about just being able, I get it. There are a lot with everything that's going on right now. Everybody just wants to stay at home and do that, and I get that too. But there's something to be said about going to the movie theater. That's for sure. And all these lawsuits that are going on now because of all. I mean, we talked about the Black Widow stuff last week, but there's all these new rumors, and that the changes that are going to come to the movie theaters because of just this thing in general, all these lawsuits and this talk about all this stuff, is going to be pretty big. I imagine a lot of changes in actors changing their contracts or contracts being changed, written a certain way now. So that could also be big issues for theaters and stuff like that.
And they need to figure out how to incorporate the money into, like, okay, X amount of people watched the movie on HBO Max. They need to incorporate some of that into, like, what it would be dollar-wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck on that.
Yeah.
I know it's impossible, but they've got to figure out a way to balance it, because saying it was a bust because it was a $12 million opening, but so many people watched it at home.
What is Rotten Tomatoes saying?
Jungle Cruise had a strong theatrical opening and a strong streaming weekend.
Because Disney charges still, right? I think
But
that's
Disney charges for it.
is like either if you got to spend money at home or in the theater, like I think that's more of a reason to get up and go to the theater.
Yeah, they know.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that we rely on websites like this now so much, but to get a decent score at Rotten Tomatoes is saying something so far.
That's crazy.
Yeah, 92%. That's pretty damn good.
The movie, I'll say it again when we talk about it, but just for Tony's sake, it was funny, it was dark, it was bloody, it was gory. It kind of had just a little bit of everything, which made it an enjoyable experience.
Yeah, that's good.
I didn't notice it was rated R before, but that's exciting to me. It's
pretty hard. It's a pretty hard.
You get to see a nice outline of John Cena's root when he's in his whitey tighties. I mean, you kind of get it all in this movie.
I've already seen him hanging a towel off that thing in that one movie. So I feel like he's just inching closer and closer to bringing it all the way out.
It is for those that.
For the song.
Yes, it's a really nice outline in whitey tighties as well. So if you're a fan of the John Cena crank, it's there for you to enjoy.
Excellent.
Well, what else? What else we got that you guys want to get into?
Nobody had a follow up.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking us there, Kyle.
You're welcome.
He just ruined the whole show.
Anything about John Cena crank?
Drop on that one.
I know, those crickets and everything.
When does Titan start for the whole Red Hood stuff? Do we know?
I hope soon. I'm so excited for it.
Yeah.
And What If is next week.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. We're gonna do a deep dive on that for sure. That's gonna be a lot of fun. Let's see
it's
here.
Your favorite part of the movie.
Yeah.
Because Bad Batch is about to wrap up. I feel like I always need to have at least one thing on that Disney Plus to justify my $10 a month or whatever it is. They do a pretty good job of keeping it rolling.
Do you follow the rumors and the rumor mill for Star Wars, Tony?
No. I just see if it comes across like Facebook or Twitter, I'll see stuff. But what do you hear? It's Bad Batch rumors.
Well, it's not necessarily Bad Batch rumors, but the Star Wars rumors are coming hot and heavy every week now. It seems with all the news of Kathleen Kennedy's maybe demise over there. A lot of people are either ecstatic or bummed out, depending on how much you loved Kathleen Kennedy's run at Lucasfilm. But a lot of interesting stories coming out about the character or the series that they talked about a couple months back with Obi-Wan.
Mm-hmm.
What was all the new series that there was one that they talked about that they killed right away, Rangers of the Republic.
Right.
Yeah, the Gina Carano one.
The Gina Carano one. And now there's rumors that they're trying to bring that back off the ground, and that they might even bring Gina back, which is very interesting to me. Because I was really bummed out. I really liked that character, and it has no political anything. But I remember seeing when she was on that series, that first Mandalorian series, and I remember thinking she's going to be terrible. I mean, her acting isn't that great, but I really liked her character. Her character was a cool character, and a lot of people did, and so much so that if they're gonna build a series around her, that the demand is there.
I just liked having a lady on TV that was just built like a fucking brick shithouse. Like
Yeah.
like a tree trunk with the shooting guns and stuff. Like that's a real woman.
Yeah, she is badass, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm
guys see
really looking forward to that.
You guys see the Steven Soderbergh movie she's in?
Yeah, Haywire.
Yeah, Haywire. I love that movie.
Oh yeah.
He redubbed her whole voice in that thing. That's the secret of getting a good performance out of her. Is you
they redubbed her voice?
her whole part is redubbed.
Oh, I didn't know that. Interesting. What were you going to say,
terrible.
Sam?
Did Cara Dune make the list for our top 5 toy line tonight?
No, it did not. The list so far has been pretty thin on Star Wars.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
which is a good time. If anyone's just joining the chat now, we're doing a top 5. So if you haven't named your favorite character from your favorite toy line, go ahead and say it in the comments now. And later on, we're going to compile and see if we can get a top 5. So from your favorite toy series, Transformers, My Little Pony, G.I. Joe, whatever, who is your favorite character? Post it in the comments.
It seems very much G.I. Joe centric so far.
It's been heavy G.I. Joe. Yeah.
I even went G.I. Joe, and I don't particularly even care about G.I. Joe. That was the last one I watched.
Oh man,
there was something cool about being a kid and playing with G.I. Joe.
Yeah, they were great.
I still remember waking up.
Twist them up.
It was fun waking up, and I had that. Like my dad had put together the plane on Christmas Eve for me. So when I woke up, I think he had more fun playing with it than I did.
Yes.
But there's nothing like waking up with these cool G.I. Joe toys when you were a kid that, were astronomically priced for the 80s and early 90s. Like I think they were pretty expensive. Like for the 80s, I think G.I. Joe, the toys were actually pretty fucking expensive.
Yeah, the larger vehicles were like $60 to $80. I remember.
The figures I know were like $3.15 with tax, because that's how much allowance I had to save to get that thing. And my folks, so I'm one of 5 kids, and in those days I think I was probably one of 3 kids, but we didn't have a whole ton of money. My dad was a teacher. And so they would give me $1 a week allowance, which I was just like, sweet. So I'd have to save up for like a month to get a G.I. Joe if I wanted one. But one time they did splurge, and we went to like this, dollar store, like a Dollar General type,
Mm-hmm.
And they got me this whole pack of G.I. Joes, and I was like, this is crazy. Thank you so much. And then like when he handed it to me, it was one of those Bobo G.I. Joes where, like they have like these heads and stuff. It was like $3 for 10 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I was psyched about it, but they fell apart very quickly. They were really shitty, and I couldn't take them to school to it was like that Biggie song, like they would have sewing tigers on my shirt and alligators. They would have known immediately that I was faking.
Yeah.
Was it the rubber band inside was too crusty and it snap all the limbs off?
Yeah, they would snap.
It wasn't even a rubber band.
Wobbly already.
Yep.
Like marionettes.
String.
Yeah. It's a piece of chewing gum.
I remember taking those figures, and those would be like the ones that you would put the firecrackers to and throw them up on the parachutes and try and blow them up, because I never wanted to blow up my real G.I. Joes. Yeah.
So. That's like the Viking funeral for G.I. Joes, man.
Yeah. Yeah, we used to launch them with we would because back in the day some of the Joes would come with parachutes. I remember Ace came with them. If you had the Sky Striker, came with parachutes, and we used to put figures on there, put a firecracker on there, and then launch it with a water balloon launcher in the sky. And man, that was fun. Half of them would just fall. Parachute wouldn't even open, but when they do, it was pretty epic.
Glorious.
Yeah.
Tony, if you ever find that Dusty figure, I think we should probably give him the Viking funeral.
He deserves it at this point.
Yeah.
I feel like I really disrespected him here in retrospect. He's somewhere in Silver Spring, Maryland, I moved away from there a couple years later, so hopefully some kid found him and dusted him off and loved him.
Yeah, that'd be epic. It'd be worth it.
I
Be worth
know.
it.
I was telling this before you come on, but that's what I would do with my GI Joes too. Do you remember that show, the movie, The Boy Who Could Fly?
Oh,
No.
this
Why am I the only person that knows that movie?
You're striking out on this one.
I know, I really am. But during it, they would bury the GI Joes in the backyard where they died. I buried most of my GI Joes back there, and I know I'm hoping some kid got at least 5 or 6.
You're bringing it up. Good.
Good.
dude, this is like an after-school movie.
Yeah, that's a great thumbnail.
The main poster is rad. Like, I like that thing. That's a good design. That's the lady laughing up in the air. Directed by Nick Castle, written by Nick Castle.
I have never seen this.
You never seen it?
Oh, look at the what's his name's in it?
Fred Savage.
Fred Savage.
Hey, that's
Chick from Facts of Life too.
Yeah.
Mindy Cohn.
Yeah, this is Kyle. This is twice on this episode that you brought up crazy old movies that we've never seen.
But I remember, I think this is the movie too, where Fred Savage actually peed in the squirt guns, and there's a kid that's picking them, and he rolls up on his 3-wheeled power wheels thing, where you pedal the big front wheel, and he's dressed up he's all in commando wear, and the kid's picking on him. He pulls up the squirt gun and he starts squirting them with pee in the squirt guns.
Yeah, it just gave every kid an idea. Every kid in that theater, just light bulb. Bing!
I thought you were saying that Kyle gave kids an idea. I can't imagine there's a kid watching this at this point.
Yeah.
There you go, a big wheel. Thank you.
Yeah,
You're still
a big
talking
wheel.
about stuff from the 80s? You turn my Roblox off so I can catch all of this.
Yeah. Yeah.
That kid in The Boy Who Could Fly, I recognize him. I couldn't figure out from where. He's the dickhead boyfriend in Uncle Buck. Remember, his name?
That's right.
Yes.
Uncle
Top
Buck.
10
And
all-time
someone-
greatest movies. Uncle Buck.
Someone in the chat also commented he was the Human Torch in Roger Corman's.
Oh, yeah.
Brian says one of the best movies, but if we limit it to movies featuring giant pancakes, I think it takes number 1.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh man, good stuff. Uncle Buck is classic. Uncle Buck is one of those movies that no matter where it's at in the movie and you come across it on cable, you're stopping to watch it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's where we all fell in love with Macaulay Culkin. Aunt Jackie's in that thing. She tries to seduce Uncle Buck.
Aunt Jackie. Oh man. That's my childhood right there, man. Dan Connor is my dad to a T.
Love.
Does he hang
To a
drywall?
T. Huh?
Does he hang
No.
drywall?
No.
Does he build motorcycles?
No. But he looks and sounds just like him.
Does he wear flannel a lot?
No. Maybe he's not to a T.
So far,
Maybe
you're
he's not to a
striking
T,
out,
yeah.
right?
Doesn't sound like no
Yeah.
Dan Connor I know.
It's
Yeah.
more like a lowercase T.
Yeah.
The Roseanne was another one we were talking
Does he
about.
drink tea?
We were talking about Hall of Heroes comics and Trincaniga making me want to make comics. I remember when they were making that comic book on Roseanne. Remember Darlene and her boyfriend David were making a comic. And I was just they're talking about making comics on TV. And I would just try and look close to the screen when they were working on it and stuff. How does it work? What are they doing? Those ones, I'm pretty sure were the ones, those were Joss Whedon episodes. Because back in the day before
Yeah.
nerds won everything, there were 2 people that would put comic book content on TV, and it was him and Alan Heinberg would throw stuff in when he'd write on OC or Sex and the City or whatever.
Yeah, it's and now TV is nothing but superheroes and comic book.
Yeah.
You got Olympic athletes doing superhero poses at the medal ceremonies.
Yeah. Which is super cool.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah.
That means the jocks are trying to be nerds. It's all flipped around.
I mean, they're still being jocks. They just get to dip a toe in at the same time. I don't think they have to go through all the same nightmarish. I wonder if like nerd kids, what it's like for them now. It's got to be great. Everybody knows who fucking Kang is.
I know life is good. You could walk around with a comic book and a comic book T-shirt type on, and you don't have to hide under the bleachers or way back in the corner to play Dungeons and Dragons. Now it's cool.
Yeah,
like it's.
You know, I feel like we're gonna just slip into. We're already in nostalgia. This is just a show about comic books that we like. But I remember in high school or junior high school, if you saw another kid at your school in some comic book shirt or some like flying some sort of flag like that, that was a sign that like, oh, I'm gonna go make friends with that guy. Like that, me and him can talk about, you know, Extreme Studios or whatever.
Hey, you! I like you.
Yeah, more than one kid like that in my school. I could still remember their names. Well, we're all old here. We've done it.
Yeah, I'm about to hit my 20-year reunion this next month.
Oh man, you going?
Yeah, I'm trying to set up a dodgeball tournament for the alumni.
Nice.
My last high school reunion thing that was sent to me, I marked it as spam.
You marked it as spam. You're like, leave me alone.
Yes, I marked it as spam. I was like,
unless there's a dodgeball tournament, I'm not involved.
Because I think when I went to high school, like the pager was cool.
The pager?
We had pagers.
Yeah, you had a pager. If you were cool, you had a pager.
I mean, I didn't have a pager. I was not cool.
Now you're cool if you have a landline.
Yeah, what do you do with that?
Yeah, that's so vintage-ish. Way to go.
All right. Well, I feel like we've done it, right? You guys want to go ahead and talk about Suicide Squad, and I'll go back to work. Do you have any more questions, Brian?
I think
Brian's smoking weed. He's out
here.
Kyle's hoping that you design a tattoo for him so that he can add your name to his back or something, aren't you, Kyle?
Always.
Sure, yeah. A guinea pig tattoo. I got that.
You know what? I'm going to send this to CGC to get signed. Can you write to Kyle, my guinea pig loving friend, Tony?
Really make your comic all the more valuable by personalizing it and talking about guinea pigs on the front. One of one.
One of one.
No.
What are you working on? You got to go back to My Little Ponies, or?
I'm working on Time Shopper stuff tonight. We're just like putting the graphics and stuff together for the Kickstarter.
I can't wait for that. When does that Kickstarter? Because that's a great book.
Thank you. Yeah, we're trying to have it launch like the same time as the trade, as the Stray Dogs trade. So September 15th, around there. We've been working on it for fucking ever. Just because it became one of those like pandemic things where it's just like, well, we got this book we got to put out, and so we just been slowly working towards getting it to a place where we can launch this Kickstarter. And in the in the time we've been working on it, we really put together a lot of cool stuff that comes with it. I think it's cool. Stuff that we've never seen anybody else do, and because it's a time travel thing, we could put like stuff from other eras and stuff like that. And so it's just sort of like we put together a really neat package, I think. And so excited to finally get it out there, but also just it feels like unfinished business just having this book that's been done for like 2 years, that we just got to get it out there because I want people to read it and have it. And, I want to have it on my shelf and stuff. So
2 more quick questions for you. Sticks Boy wants to know if you've got a con schedule coming up.
I'm doing a couple shows. I'm doing Rose City in Portland. I'm doing a very small show in Sioux Falls, South Dakota called SuperCon, but it's spelled soup like SIUX. And then I'm not sure. I'm doing San Jose, I think, out here in California. But I'm not doing too many. Like I said, I'm just sort of in the moment. I had this opportunity to sort of buckle down and just work. So I'm going to try my best to just get a bunch of work done while, make hay while the sun is out, I think is the saying. I'm going to try and do that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you use any kind of software for your graphics?
Oh, yes, I do. I this stuff is just internet, like web graphics. So I'm just putting it together in Photoshop. But when I'm drawing, I use Procreate on the iPad. I like that program a lot for drawing. When I'm coloring stuff, I use Photoshop, and then all the lettering and design stuff we do in Illustrator and InDesign. I use basically Adobe Creative Suite and Procreate. That's what I use.
Do you still, when you go to cons, do you get a lot of questions from people coming up to you and asking you, advice on becoming a creator?
Yeah, I mean, there's always one or two, and I do my best. It's just so the road to doing this is so different for everybody, and the path that I took is so circuitous. It's like, what am I going to tell somebody? Spend 10 years drawing children's licensed comics and then have like a very strange idea for something that takes off? The only advice I can really ever give people is just sort of like work every day. Like if it's your hobby, make like it's your job and work at it, and then listen to people. Show your work to people and listen to them. And I have a pretty good. There's a better word for it, but like a healthy self-hatred, where when I do something, I can look at it and I'll hate it, and then I just work on it until I don't hate it, and I feel like if you're at least have that much of a self-awareness, then you've got a pretty good shot at getting something going,
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool. I love hearing stories about, not only creators who give advice, people, crazy stories, but I love hearing stories about creators who have done that themselves. Have you ever done that when you were younger? Did you go to cons and see creators that you liked and show them your work and say, hey, what do you think?
Yeah. I remember specifically like the first creator I ever met besides Stan Lee. Like I met Stan Lee at like a Comic-Con. But he's not giving advice, like how can I be the face of Marvel Comics? He just said, but I met Paul Chadwick, who did Concrete, at a mall comic shop. And thinking back on it, I'm just like, how did Paul Chadwick end up at the Citadel Mall in Colorado Springs on like a Thursday or what? It's just like so strange that he was there. But I asked him that question, and he gave me basically that same answer. Like work at it like it's your job, and you just have to work really hard at it all the time, which I do, and I feel like it's maybe to like a problematic extent. Like I might work probably too much, but it's the only thing that really works is working. But then I went to this cartoon school. Like the town I grew up in had like a after school cartoon school, where like you could go with extracurricular stuff. And they had like animation classes and comic book classes and all this cool stuff. And then so I took the animation class and I took the comic book class, and then they had these like seminars where they would bring in people who'd actually made comics. And the guy who taught if you know Hall of Heroes, I'm going to test your metal here and see if you know this stuff. So the guy who taught the main comic book class at this thing was this guy named Philip Lane, and he did this book called Stealth Squad, and it was like a superhero group. It was from Petra Comics, another religious comic. Like it had like little Bible verses in the up where it said Petra Comics and stuff. But it was basically Youngblood, but just with different characters, and they lived in their base was in a mountain, but it was Cheyenne Mountain in Colorado, and they lived in Colorado, which was where I grew up. And so he taught this class, and he put out like 4 issues. The first 2 were full color issues, and the second 2 were like black and white ash cans, because it was sort of like 1995, where it was starting to not be profitable to continue to put out comics. But the most notable thing I think like they'd have ads in like Hero Illustrated and stuff, so like people would hear about it. But then the most notably, Todd Knock before Extreme Studios, or maybe like he sent it in before Extreme Studios and then he got hired. He had like a pinup in the back of one of those issues, which
wait, I gotta write this down now. Yeah, you're dropping. Tony's dropping the knowledge that I want. I love these early creator things.
Yeah, like when you would see like J. Scott Campbell drawings and letters pages and stuff.
Yes, I geek out over that stuff, man, big time. What was it called?
It's called Stealth Squad. He's in Stealth Squad either 2 or either 3 or 4, and they're ash cans.
That is awesome.
So,
oh my God, look at this. Yeah, sure enough. Hold on, let me pull this up.
Yep.
Look at how cool this is. Oh man, I'm loving this.
Yeah, it's exactly. I mean, and like that's basically, if you want to know how old I am, I'm that many years old. You know, like that's the kind of shit that I love.
Look at this. Look how great this is. Oh, this is so good. Yeah, man, I'm gonna geek out over this. Thank you for this.
Go down. I want to see if they have.
Oh, look at that guy.
Here's the ash cans.
Yeah, 0 in stock. Yes, there's a black and white, just like basically a Kinko's one, and then I think the 4th one is still an ash can, but it might have a color cover. I didn't even know about that 0 issue. Now I feel like I'm out of the loop.
Oh, these are great. These are
I wonder
awesome.
if there's any on eBay right now.
I will find some of these. I guarantee it.
I got the first 3 right there. Those are available.
Yep, $2. This one's This is going to be the hard one right here.
That's the Todd Knock debut issue.
Oh no, damn. Yeah, that's a bummer. Well, I'll find one.
So that was who taught the main class, and then they brought in these guys who did their own comic. It was not a religious comic, but it was called Lords. Coincidentally, it was like this team of heroes who were all gods. You know, like it's like Zeus and Jesus and all these other gods, but they were like a super team. But that one was like super, like took itself very seriously. I didn't even know there was a
Solar Blade.
Had no idea there was a spin-off series. Oh, that's available? Do not buy that. Nobody buy that.
It's the ash can too, so hit that one up quick.
Leave it right there.
Yeah. That was awesome.
But then they brought in J. Scott Campbell and they brought in John Romita Jr., this same school. And so those were the first 2 comic artists that they did like full seminars, and like I could watch them draw and hear them talk about the business and stuff. And I was just enraptured. I was terrible, you know, like I was a terrible artist at the time, but I was just like soaking in the whole thing.
Yeah.
For years, I would draw these eyes like how I thought J. Scott Campbell was drawing eyes in this seminar, and it was not correct. We weren't doing the same thing, you know, like, but it was very inspirational to me.
Wow. I appreciate this dropping this knowledge, because he made my night. Anytime I find out new information like that, I'm like a kid in a candy store. I'm like, feed me. So very cool stuff.
Well, are we done? Are they still have questions?
I think here's one real quick one. Are you ever coming up to any plans to head up to Canada?
I hear about those. What's the big Canada show?
Toronto.
Yeah, but they're run by like there's
Fan
like 2 or 3 shows. Yeah, Fan Expo.
Fan Expo.
Yeah. I would go to a Fan Expo if they invited me. Probably not till next year. I'm sort of trying to chill on like super big shows, just because
what's going on.
Yeah, imagine how furious I would be with myself.
They probably won't even have one this year.
Yeah.
Ontario is still in a total lockdown. The border's closed. I doubt having any Fan Expo.
I have friends up there that are just now getting vaccinated, you know, like just now getting the opportunity. So, yeah.
Wow. Well, hey, listen, everybody, thanks for hanging out with us and asking the questions for Tony. Tony, thank you for coming out and hanging out again, man. It's really cool.
Thank you guys so much for having me. New guys that I haven't met before, very happy to meet you. Happy to be here and hang out. Appreciate it. yeah, and thanks so much for you guys have been so supportive of the book. I really appreciate it. Like,
Yeah, of
not
course, man.
the stuff you say when you're saying goodbye. Like, it really means something to Trish and I that so many people, you guys, early adopters of the book. And you didn't wait till it was very expensive. You were just like, this thing's good right away. So
Yeah,
we appreciate it.
Well, before you go, I will say one last thing. We were talking the other day on the show about how it's been rare the past couple of years that there hasn't been a comic where we talk about it every day it comes out. We call each other saying, "Hey, did you read this?" You know, it used to be like Walking Dead. When Walking Dead would come out, I'd call Kyle and say, "Hey, did you read what's going on Walking Dead?" And we would geek out over it. There hasn't been a comic like that in a long time until Stray Dogs.
Mhm.
So, we appreciate you for writing it and creating it with you and Trish, and a great story, and keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
All right, brother.
Thank you,
Enjoy talking
Tony.
about Suicide Squad. We'll see you
Thanks,
soon.
buddy.
All right.
Yeah,
See
later,
ya.
Tony.
Wow, really cool stuff, man. Every time he hangs out, him and
Drop
Trish.
some knowledge.
Yeah, they make it fun. They make it fun, that's for sure. So,
Hey, and shout out to
86.
our viewers in Canada.
Yeah, for sure. Well, not shout out to our viewers in Canada, because it seems like you win every single free giveaway, and I gotta ship books to Canada. So just move to the United States. Come on. No, I'm just joking. All right, let's get into the Suicide Squad talk. No, spoilers don't exist on this channel, so we gave Tony a little love there, not spoiling it. He still hasn't seen it, so if you still haven't seen it, I apologize, but we're gonna get into it. All right, let's do it. You guys had your warning.
Let's do it.
So I remember instantly thinking,
Kyle died right in the beginning, just like
yeah, Kyle just nailed.
let's
Let's
do
do
it.
it.
Let's
Kyle's
do
the
it. I'm
javelin.
out of here.
Yeah.
Kyle's the javelin of the podcast, right?
I was gonna talk to Tony some more off camera. No, I'm just playing.
I remember, when the movie first got announced, and the joke was like, yeah, all these characters are just going to die. Like these big characters that we're all geeking out for, they're just going to die in the first 5 minutes. And we were half right. So let's get that out of the way. What did you guys, were you guys expecting that, to see a lot of these guys just poof?
Yes.
So the trailer, I watched the trailer. I try not to watch a lot of promo materials for movies that I know I'm going to see. And the one thing I noticed was that Javelin, I've been following Flula Borg, the actor who played Javelin, for a long time. He used to do these like goofy little skits, and he had one that was like, name 3 Germans, and it was always Adolf Hitler, and he'd be like, he was Austrian. But I've been following him for a long time, and so when he announced that he was in the movie, I was paying a lot of attention to it. And the only scene they ever showed him in was the walk-up at the very beginning of the movie. And so I was like, yeah, so with that big flag behind him, right, the big American flag behind him, and they're walking out. And I was like, okay, we're not getting a lot of Flula in other places, a lot of Javelin in other places. I wonder if he's not going to make it past this walk-up. And I actually messaged him. I said, hey, Flula, I'm not seeing you past this big walk-up, but are you going to be okay? Are you going to make it past the opening credits? and I got the scene, but there was no response, right? So I was like, okay, well, all right. I don't think he's going to make it. So I went back and I looked at the trailer, and sure enough, there were a lot of characters who were only shown in that walk-up, like Pete Davidson, Michael Rooker, Mongal, whoever was playing Mongal. Yeah, that's exactly how it bore out. They made it into the opening credits, and they were just a diversion. They were cannon fodder.
I liked how they focused on Rooker so much in the beginning. Like there was so much focus on him for just his head to explode.
Yeah, because I thought he was gonna. I'll be honest. I thought he was gonna be one of the characters that was like the movie really helped out because I figured Rooker's a great actor. They're not going to just, hire him to just be cannon fodder. Wrong.
The only thing that came about above him is a bird ate some of them.
That was some poetic justice, right?
It was weird seeing in the credits the names of the actors like a minute well after that they had just been killed off.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, so the movie isn't starring him and isn't starring him.
I love how I love the Weasel character. I thought that character was great. Calendar Man. I love
scene
that.
where he's licking the glass and he's
Yeah, that's some weird shit.
So let's get into it. You guys want to get into what the movie is about, and so basically let's set it up for him.
Yeah, I think it's important to recognize a lot of the things that they did wrong in the first one that this version really corrected, and the first part was that the squad in Suicide Squad in 2016 was way too big, and it should have focused on 4 or 5 characters, which is what they did here. And it was a lot tighter narrative. It was more exciting. You really got to dig into the characters a lot more. Versus in 2016, it was just like, here's a bunch of people you have no attachment to. Harley Quinn and Deadshot you're going to really care about, but the rest of them, they're just going to be along for the ride.
Like Rat Killer, they give zero information to Rat Killer.
Right.
I like that.
Ratcatcher, sorry.
Yeah, Ratcatcher 2.
I like how they call it Ratcatcher 2 and Ratcatcher.
I like that they did it so that there was no connection to any, like you couldn't really get attached to a character because you didn't know if they were going to live or die.
Yeah, I think my assumption was that they were all going to die with the exception of Idris Elba and Harley Quinn. And after a little while, I was like, okay, King Shark's not going to die either because he's basically indestructible.
I like that they didn't make Harley Quinn the focus. It was only a little extra draw so that a lot of people who don't read comic stuff, they had that one person that they could, okay, Harley Quinn's in it, we can go see it type of thing. But they didn't make it wasn't centric around her.
I'll give an unpopular opinion here. I'm done with Harley Quinn. I can't handle her anymore.
Are you serious? I think I
Birds
feel the
of
exact
Prey
opposite.
just did it for me. That was just so much. 2 hours of Harley Quinn, and I just wanted to kill myself. And so now, even in this movie, I'm just like I said. I agree. It's probably an unpopular opinion, but I am done.
I like because in this movie they
Unless
actually
she's
showed
Joker.
they gave her growth.
I like her with the Joker stuff, but
yeah, I don't know that that's going to be a popular opinion, Ish. I think Birds of Prey was probably too much Harley Quinn, but this was a great amount of Harley Quinn. I really enjoyed her character here in this film. This was really fun for me. I thought my wife and we were in the theater watching it, and when she says, "I'm waiting for God to tell me what to do with this stick," like we both laughed out loud. It was like that's a great moment. And there was a lot of redemption for the character, I think, in this movie.
I just like it wasn't focused on her. I like
Cena
that.
was too much. John Cena's an awful actor.
I thought he was fucking hilarious in this movie.
He had one. I think every character had like one funny moment, and he had one funny moment where he's all like, "Not if it's dope as fuck." I thought that was kind of hilarious.
because even when he said it's dope as fuck, it was still dry. Like there was, even when he said, and then Idris Elba as fuck, it was like,
he's right.
And the thing that I loved about every little chapter, it seemed like every little chapter had its own little twist, right? And so as they're infiltrating that base to save Colonel Flagg, and they hit you with that twist that oh, these were all good guys that they were eliminating. Like it's like, oh,
It's
oh,
and I
oh
love
my
it because
gosh.
they drew it out, and so you're like, they were going through and they were just murdering everybody, and they were dragging it out, and you get all the way to the end, and they were like, ooh, yeah,
like,
about that.
Yeah, I thought each chapter had its own little twist that was really kept things moving, kept you on your toes. It introduced a lot of absurdity and a lot of humor that kept the movie really interesting versus 2016, where they did a lot of things. They did a lot of things that just were ridiculous. Like, for example, the thing that I keep harping on. Katana has a sword that steals souls, right? And the villain is a soul possessing another person. Why didn't they use her sword to trap Enchantress? It never happened. It's like they didn't even talk about the sword again. It's like, okay.
I feel in this one the same question with the rat catcher. She could have done the big rat move at the end way earlier in the movie and solved a lot more of the problems.
I thought it was just scary that the idea that there's probably that many rats in every city.
Yeah.
A lot of rats on that island. Hey, quick trivia question. The island they were on, can anyone name where and what other DC movie has it ever been mentioned in?
Batman
See if the chat
89.
gets it first before.
Batman
before
89.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I spoiled it then.
That's correct. Vicky Vale. And Bruce Wayne's like, oh, I like your work in Corto Maltese.
Yeah. It's Vicky Vale, that's her serious work was Corto Maltese, and then she was stuck doing a lot of fashion magazines.
I want to say I liked Starro. Starro was perfectly weird enough. I really dug Starro with the starfish coming out of the armpits. Yeah. It's pretty creepy.
I thought that was awesome.
And at the end, the javelin. And I saw that coming from a million miles away where that javelin was going to end up. But it was a cringy moment, and like in a good, fun, cringy moment because it was so gross thinking of you entering someone's eyeball like that.
Yeah, my wife was like, "They just killed Patrick." It was so funny. Yeah, it was. I was entertained from start to finish, just with like the zany, off the wall kills. There were so many kills, and the characters were so dumb but also lovable, and all of the twists and turns along the way. It was spectacular. I having been so disappointed in the 2016 Suicide Squad, this was just a world apart. So bravo to James Gunn, bravo to the production and the cast. This was really, really fun.
Yeah, I thought they did well. I thought it kind of gave us everything. We got everything in the movie. We got blood, we got guts, we got humor, we got John Cena root, we got a little bit of full frontal nudity. We kind of just got everything that we kind of needed.
John Cena root.
I felt that's why ultimately I give the movie a thumbs down. It was, for me personally, it was too much. And I didn't really expect it to be that much like splatter gore, like trauma level. And even seeing it twice confirmed, I'm like, I don't know. It's just, it was way too much. Too much gunplay. I'm just kind of tired of it. I'm like old man now yelling at the clouds, but
get off my lawn. No more gunplay.
Bores the fuck out of me. Just shooting guns and one bullet and you fly 20 feet. I don't know.
And Joe's right.
I was a kid when I saw Commando. I was like, yeah, that's fun. But now as an old man, it's like, I don't know. It's just not fun.
Get off my lawn. You could tell he did use the Guardians of the Galaxy formula. Like that was his baseline of writing this movie. But I think it worked with the low expectations that everybody gives DC.
By the way, Joe's dueling is that Doc Ellis as your avatar? Because if it is, you're winning the avatar game, my friend. You are definitely winning the avatar game. Do you guys know the story of Doc Ellis?
No.
Doc Ellis was a Pittsburgh Pirates pitcher that threw a no-hitter while on acid.
Wow.
Are you serious?
He pitched to both Richard Nixon and Jimi Hendrix. He said later.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a comment from Steve Schuh says no such thing as too much guts or blood in a movie. And what's so funny about that is there was a Kurosawa movie where they had hooked up a squib or like a blood pouch or something to one of the actors, and they had over pressurized it. And so when the guy got his neck cut by the samurai, it like shot way too far, way further than they had expected. And that was the take that Kurosawa wanted. And so that set the bar for
Tarantino's wet dreams.
Blood spurts ever since. So that's an old Hollywood tradition, is that if you're going to have a blood spurt, it's got to really spurt. You got to make it all the way. And so I agree with Steve Schuss. If you're going to have blood or guts, let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it was just I liked that it could be. It didn't have to be super dark and gritty. Like they made it fun. They made it. You got to laugh. And I thought that was good.
Yeah.
I'm glad at least they got rid of Joel Kinnaman. I can't stand that actor.
You don't like him?
No,
wasn't that supposed to be Tom Hardy originally? Wasn't Tom Hardy supposed to play that character originally?
Really, Tom Hardy?
Yeah, he's a terrible actor. I'm glad he didn't.
He was supposed to play that and he dropped out or something.
He
couldn't sweat and wear a hoodie for 2.5 hours.
Jared Leto probably sent him a rat in the mail, and he's like, "I'm not doing this.
I'm out. Yeah. I don't need this shit."
No, I really. I mean, I guess as far as like downsides for all of us who liked it, was there anything that you saw in it that you were like, "This doesn't really jive with me"?
I found that there was a couple parts that were like, it's about to start dragging. You felt it starting to drag, but then he did something that took it out of that. Okay, it brought it back. I found a couple scenes where I was like, it was closer to the end of the movie. I think like right before they really started the battle, and they were kind of walking down the road right before they got to Starro, and I was like, okay. And like I felt it starting to kind of lose it a little bit, but then they brought it back. I think once they killed Polka Dot Man.
Okay. For me, I didn't really. I can see what you're saying. Like there were moments where it was like maybe it was going to drag, and then they would do the little mini flashback 8 minutes ago or 8 minutes earlier, and they'd catch you up so that you could see how these two moments happen. That kind of explains why. Blood spurt is dropping in at just the right moment to save Ratcatcher 2. Also, Ratcatcher 2 is like that reminds me of the bowler's daughter from Mystery Men.
Yeah,
you guys remember that? The bowler and the bowler's daughter. But yeah, so Idris Elba's crashing right in it, right at the right moment to save her life. And they're like, oh well, actually, we just got to look back 8 minutes. And you see how that all played out. So it ended perfectly.
Well, one of the things that we talked about is this being a DC movie and all the DC craziness. Well, I came across, while we were at Rotten Tomatoes, this is kind of interesting to me. This is all the upcoming DC movies. They put this out August 5th. It's an editorial, so, can't hold much water. It doesn't hold much water. Batman's coming soon. Black Adam is slated for July 29th, 2022. And The Flash is slated for November 4th, 2022. Aquaman, Lost Kingdom, December 16th, 2022. Shazam, Fury of the Gods, June 2nd, 2023. And then the rest of these are quote unquote in development. So they got the Batgirl movie or show, I guess, HBO Max, right? It's supposed to be on HBO Max. And then the Blue Beetle, which everybody is going crazy for, the Jamie Reyes books right now. because this basically just kind of came out with the guy from Cobra Kai being cast as Jamie Reyes. So we got the Blue Beetle show coming too. That's going to be on HBO Max, Batgirl and Blue Beetle. And then Wonder Woman 3 to be announced. There's another Batman. And this is interesting. It says the other Batman, what we know. In a New York Times profile of Hamada, the DC Films chief made a curious reference to the multiverse making 2 Batman feature film sagas possible. One will likely continue the story of the Batman, while the other will, well, it's anyone's guess right now. The events of Flash may give Ben Affleck's Batman a new face in the DCEU. So that's kind of interesting. Of course, the Green Lantern core stuff. We all know about that. The Supergirl stuff. Cyborg. I don't even know why they're messing with this character anymore. Yeah. They ruined that character. Blackhawk stuff. This is the interesting one. There's still the Jared Leto Joker movie that they're talking about. So,
I'm totally cool with that.
Yeah, hell yeah. According to reports, Jared Leto will star and serve as an executive producer in his own solo Joker film, a deal which happens to be quite similar to Margot Robbie's involvement in Birds of Prey. Details are scarce, other than it'll be a separate project from both the Joker and Harley concept and the standalone Joker. It will also spearhead a batch of films based on the characters created in Suicide Squad, which means rumors of a Deadshot movie might be more than idle talk. So that's kind of interesting. They also talk about the Peacemaker movie, but then they talk there's going to be a Joker 2 with the Todd, what's his name? Todd Phillips Jokerverse stuff. And then, of course, Nightwing to be determined. Man of Steel sequel to be determined. Lobo to be determined. Static Shock. The Superman stuff that we've all talked about. Our Man. New Gods. I thought that was dead. Yeah, it says shelved. So that's interesting. The Trench, shelved. So there you go. Those are all the DC stuff that there's rumors about or any news about that we could.
Jared Leto Joker, written by Jared Leto, directed by Jared Leto, produced by Jared Leto, starring Jared Leto,
score
music
by
Jared Leto. Yeah,
Jared Leto.
Good for him, man. He's a Robert Rodriguez style. Shout out to Jared Leto.
Hey, I wouldn't mind
because I know he's watching.
He's just totally watching. That dude's not a liar like Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
Their movie slate's starting to look a lot like the comic slate, where you got a lot of characters appearing in multiple series across different iterations. And that's what the movie slate's starting to look like, and maybe they're just going to embrace that. Yeah,
I hope so. I mean, they've messed it up all pretty bad, so... but another thing that we're getting, speaking of James Gunn, we're going to have a Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special, aren't we? Isn't that supposed to be? We should start hearing stuff about that sometime soon here too.
Yeah, hopefully. And they should also play the Star Wars Christmas special as well.
The famous Star Wars Christmas special, where Boba Fett started. So. All right, let's see here. What was it? Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special. See if we can find anything on that. Nope.
Nothing.
Nope. I don't see anything. Nothing recent. Well, a week ago, Guardians of the Galaxy, James Gunn says you need to watch Christmas special. It says here, James Gunn says you need to watch Christmas special before Volume 3. So... interesting.
Sorry, AOA. That's more of an inside joke. It's not really meant at the episodes.
Special won't be nearly as long as the regular film. Instead, it will clock in under 40 minutes, comparable to an episode of Marvel Studios' limited series currently airing on streamer. Gunn wrote the script for the special and will direct. So cool. There we go.
Is that something that's going to be on like Disney Plus then, or?
It says it's in canon. It's about the Guardians. You're going to learn stuff you need to learn before Volume 3, and it's great. I'm really happy with it. The director went on to confirm the special will film at the same time as Volume 3, even using some of the same sets. I'm going to film it at the same time as the movie. I'm using a lot of the same sets and the same actors, so we're filming simultaneously.
I would hope he's using the same actors.
Yeah.
Just for this one, it's been entirely recast.
That'd be cool. The Christmas special has like Chris Hemsworth or something as Star-Lord. And
So it says here, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is due to hit May 5th. So
2023.
Yeah.
2023.
Jeez. It's a long time from now.
Yep. It is what it is.
Because it can't be what it's not.
Because it can't be what it's not. You got it.
Hey, should we knock off our top 5?
Yes.
Well,
So
it
if
really
anybody-
comes down to there's one clear winner. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, if there's anybody new that hasn't thrown in their toy, this is your cutoff. This is the last chance for it.
And it's
So
like
for-
1, 2, 3,
Forever
4.
hold
There's
your
a
peace.
first place, and then there's a 4-way tie for second place, and then everything else is a single vote.
That's top 5. There you go.
Yes. What is it? Oh, yeah. What is it?
Well, here, I'll just quickly read the list. So we had Evil Knievel, Soundwave, Skeletor, Voltron, Boba Fett, Lion-O, Raphael, Spawn, Trax, Shockwave, Rainbow Bright, though I think that was a troll one, Faker, Stretch Armstrong, Destro, the Green Ranger, Snake Eyes, Beachhead, Big Jim, Dusty, Darth Vader, and Zartan.
I like the Faker one
Yeah.
too.
Out of that list, the only ones that got multiple votes are Zartan, Snake Eyes, Shockwave, Voltron, Evil Knievel, and then the big winner by a mile was Raphael.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Raphael, Evil Knievel, Voltron, Shockwave, Snake Eyes, and Zartan. That's our top 5.
That's interesting. That's very
guys
interesting.
want-
Oh, I
you guys
guess
like
that was
more
not a
Raphael?
troll response. Rainbow
Your
Bright.
mom plays with Rainbow
is
Bright all the
legit.
time.
Your mom is always right. It's
Yeah.
not my mom.
Oh, man.
If you guys like Raphael stuff, Rob Paulson did just do a toy signing. He was the voice of Raphael in the original animated series, but he was also the voice of Donatello in the 2012 Nickelodeon series. And he was the voice director for Rise of the TMNT. So he's been in multiple Ninja Turtle series, and he was doing a toy signing, and he's always talking about Ninja Turtles.
Awesome.
Hell yeah. His name was Robert Paulson. Yeah, there we go.
Fight Club reference.
And Tim Markin, we did get one vote for Boba Fett.
That surprised me. I thought there were going to be more Star Wars ones.
Yeah, it's Boba Fett and Darth Vader. 1-1.
Yeah.
I was expecting more G.I. Joe as well, though.
G.I. Joe was pretty
There's a clear winner of
Pretty
the,
well represented.
Yeah.
Destro, Snake Eyes, Beachhead, Dusty, Zartan. I mean, I think they, as far as categories, G.I. Joe was number 1. Nobody picked Mask. You don't have a favorite Mask character. Here's a good trivia question. The villains in Mask, Venom. What did Venom stand for? Anybody?
I can't remember.
No?
Nice.
It's
Drawing a
kind of
blank.
silly. It's kind of funny.
Let's hear it.
Someone in the chat's got to say it.
Ish refuses to give us this information unless somebody else already gives it for us.
Unless someone wants to look it up.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. Vehicles, vehicular enemy. Who knows?
Maybe figure drawing. Figure drawing. Come on. What does Venom stand for?
Mask were vehicles were dope. Yes, they were. Yes, they were. So, all right. Anybody got anything else crazy?
Just remember, to the winner of the Stray Dog, just hit me up. I'll ship it to you. I don't remember actually who it was now.
Trace Hunter.
Was it Trace Hunter? Oh, Trace Hunter, yeah. Hit me up on Instagram. Oh, Trace
The
just hit me
Vicious
up. Sweet.
Evil Network of Mayhem.
Oh,
Kyle, don't you
nice.
have a couple quick comic reviews?
Yeah, we could do that if you want. Does it? I mean, yeah,
I'll put
fuck
you
it.
on the spot here.
Fuck it. Let me bring them up. I only
Yeah.
got two. I only did two this week.
There we go. We do have some Mask fans in the chat here. They've been talking forever for it's supposed to be a shared universe, G.I. Joe, Transformers, Mask, and Rom, the Space Knight. I don't know if that's ever going to happen, though.
Thank you, Trace. I just seen your message. Yep, just shoot me your address, and I will have that out Monday or Tuesday. So the first one I'm gonna do is the Me, You, Love in the Dark. It's the new Scotty Young book. Not a huge fan of Scotty Young art. There's a couple cool ones out there, but as a writer, I mind him a lot less. Is that right? I don't mind him as an artist. I don't really care for him as an artist, but I like him as a writer.
Okay. Hey, you have to say the title, though, with a different cadence. It's the Me You Love in the Dark.
Yeah, what Ish said.
Yeah.
The
Me, you, love.
The me you love in the dark.
Everybody knows what the fuck I'm talking about here.
The me you love.
The Me,
You're
You.
not a big fan of
Me.
Scotty's art, but you like him as a writer.
Hey, how's this? The Me You Love in the Dark.
William Shatner has appeared.
Yes, there you go. But this is about an artist. She gets a house she knows it's haunted, and kind of draws the spirits, the ghost out in it to help her with her art. She kind of going back for, and it kind of ends with the ghost actually reaching out. It was kind of a cool little start to the show, to the book. Worth a read, worth checking out at least the first 3 issues. And they say, an artist named Roe retreats from the grind of the city to an old house in a small town to find solace and inspiration without realizing the muse within it is not what she expected. So it was actually a pretty cool. It wasn't a bad read. It was a easy, quick little read. So it's not, it's not too in depth. It was kind of fun.
I'm not
So
a big fan of the Scotty Young covers, but I thought the art in this was pretty cool.
Yeah, it actually wasn't bad. I liked it as well.
It's not really that like kitty Funko Pop thing that he's been doing lately. It was more of a normal comic book art.
That's exactly what I was portraying, Sticks Boy. The me. You live in the. But no, that was it. It's a pretty fun little read. So if you haven't read it, it's worth checking out. And the other thing I tried was Porcelain. And it says, Beryl's life in the desert, living with her aunt and her cat is relatively simple. To the day she enters a dollhouse, stuck inside and changed mystery haunts children and turns them into dolls. She goes into a psychedelic journey where she must face the notion of her own limitations and move past them before she becomes the newest building's prey. I thought that there's not a lot of dialogue in this first issue.
That's an interesting premise.
So what happens is she has to go into town to get oil. And on her way back, she sees this crazy, looking house, and it kind of draws her in. And once she gets in, there's all these toys and all this stuff in there, and they want her to sit down. I don't know. It just says oil. Like she just went and got a bucket of oil, from some dude. It was just oil. I don't know. I'm sure it wasn't to
run her car.
What time period does this story take place?
CBD oil, maybe.
I think everyone's talking about Shirtless Bear Fighter. I thought that wasn't Scotty Young. I thought that was Ryan Otley. But maybe he did a cover for it. I don't know. But I thought it was Ryan Otley. But it was kind of cool. She was as she was walking back, she goes in there and she eats this. They want her to eat, so she eats this cupcake and it's got all these worms in it. And then this ghosts type thing comes in and says her skin's like porcelain. She'll make a great doll. That's kind of where they left it off, or what was going to happen, but different. Worth a read. I thought it was different.
Sticks Boys comment.
I mean, like literally, that's kind of how it was. Let me see if I can find it.
I don't know.
A little like
the one time I don't make goddamn different. I don't have pictures of it. Like
the creator of
this
book, Maria Lovett. It's almost like it's her own brand now, because all her comics start with her name, and it's a very distinct style of artwork. And like you mentioned, not very dialogue heavy. And so if anyone's a big fan of Maria Lovett, this is definitely a very much one of her signature comic books.
Like her aunt literally comes out and talks to her, and then goes, "No buts. Go to the store and get oil. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about like she wants her to like leave the desert and like kind of try to make something for herself. So they're talking about like her later in life, and she literally just says, "No buts. Go to the store, get oil." So she grabs a bucket, like, and walks off. And she walks to like this weird looking dude. And they just he fills up a bucket with oil. I mean, no real. And then they just wave goodbye and she walks off. And that's when she comes across the dollhouse. And that's when she goes in. But
go get you some oil.
Yeah, I mean, just like. So it doesn't really specify. I assume they're not working on their old Volkswagen and they need oil to get her running. I mean,
no, it's going to come in handy later when all the joints get rusty, like the Tin Man from Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like I see all those wheels there on the cover, and what do they call
gears?
Gears, yeah.
Yeah, Kyle,
so like,
do you think the book has kind of a steampunk vibe?
A little bit. So, like, when she gets into the dollhouse, I guess, see, the one time I don't make fucking... Let me just make myself... Let me stop sharing. So, like, it just... I'm assuming... I mean, it's dark.
Wow.
So maybe it's
pretty
just oil.
Trippy.
I don't know, like, and then it like the dollhouse like has a tongue and sucks her in. So I don't know. It was different. It's a #1. It was worth a shot. See, like when she walks in, it's kind of this trippy fucking place with all these toys and animals, and they want her to eat.
It's like Coraline.
It's definitely not for everybody. Like I was saying, she bites into the cupcake or whatever, and I don't know. It was different. It was worth a shot. It might not be for everybody. It's probably not going to be on my pull list. I'll say, but whatever. It was worth a shot.
I think it's safe to say it's geared towards a more female audience.
I think so as well. Yes.
But people who like, interesting art and kind of some out there stories.
It might be worth to go get graded and from EGS.
That oil that they were serving her up looked like it had been used.
Maybe it's for their vegetable oil car. I don't know.
I mean, oil when you put it into the car is clear, right? It's like a clear tan color. When it comes out, it's black.
So they're buying used fryer oil, maybe.
Yes. 1 loose bucket of oil, please, sir.
I got the old stuff.
Oil.
I just figured it was worth coming on and reviewing a #1. It kind of caught my eye in the comic book store. I get it. It's I do buy weird stuff. It was kind of an odd buy for me as well, but I just thought it was worth picking up.
I agree. It's an interesting choice, kind of not on the typical superhero beaten path.
It's a good book for me to send to get graded. Yep. So
Spunk.
that's it. Thank you guys. We've got 80 people in the chat right now hanging out with us all night. We appreciate it. Make sure to check out tomorrow the Star Wars show with Marco, Solo Wookie, JJ, and Pete and everybody.
Johnson. Yep.
And Jedi. Make sure you catch the flagship show on Monday. Catch Comic Book Women on Tuesday. The Wednesday is that the Roundtable show?
Dealer Flipside.
Dealer Flipside. Thursday, Vintage Voyage. Friday, the Hot 10. We already know where you to come on Saturday. And then I think so. Just there's plenty of stuff to listen to all week long here. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out with us. We appreciate it.
Make sure to subscribe.
Like, subscribe, hit the bell, hit that thumbs up for tonight.
Watch some more Star Trek.
Much more Star Trek.
And we'll catch you guys next time.
Later.